Get this here. Hello, good morning, good morning. Welcome back to the stream. Yeah, I gotta see what Goldie is doing here. I think it's on the way up right now. We are trending bullish, 0.40%. We are good to go. Are we good to go? Are we good to go? Oh. Yeah, today was an awesome trade. I was wondering when that trade was gonna come up. Like I hadn't gotten, like, because you know price had been moving so much of late, but we rarely was getting that last push. Sometimes you're gonna get that trade come towards TP and then just give like a strong last push, right? It was the same thing I was waiting for on today's Friday. Wednesday's trade. Yeah, on Wednesday's trade, that was like the same kind of effect that I was waiting for. Yeah, I finally caught it today, man. Awesome. You see, that's the thing about being consistent. You just keep showing up, you keep showing up, you keep showing up. The more you show up, the harder you work, the more you show up, the luckier you get. Because it could have easily said, you know, it's Friday, take Friday off, chill for a bit, already been a pretty good week. But the more you show up, luckier you get. Let's see right now. Wait, let me see. All right, let's see what's going on. Let's go on the daily time frame. We are approaching. We're still kind of coming up towards like 5100 mark over here. So that's the key area that we need to blast through. As you can see, the market's waiting. We're still waiting for something. So keep in mind the headlines. We might get some headlines during the weekend. We might have some news drop. Let's see, investing in gold for now. Investing in gold for your child's education or wedding. What works and what doesn't. In India, gold is not just an investment, it's a security, tradition, and a quiet promise to your child that something valuable will always be there when needed. See, this is gold. Gotta trade gold, chat. Like, how y'all not trading gold? I don't get it. For many families, buying gold every year, especially for a daughter, feels more reassuring than looking at mutual fund statement that moves up and down. Yeah, Goldie, man, like percentage gains on gold, insane. When the goal is something as when the goal is something as big as education, abroad, or a wedding, 10 to 15 years away, gold often becomes the first instinct. Very nice. Let's see. Comics, gold futures. At this juncture, gold bulls have technical upper hand, the analyst says, noting that the commodity is trading above a 20-day simple moving average. Precious metal will probably stage a fresh attempt to climb towards resistance at 5,500. Oh, yes. We just need to get beyond 51, and 5,500 is going to be inside. Like, by the time we're breaking above 51, hopefully there's going to be macro fundamentals in play. Because if it's still the same news that we have right now, by the time we break 5,100, then we might have a trickle effect. You know, that's kind of worst thing. Because, like, market will just move, but it's moving based off the anticipation of news, which is, you know, there's a much higher probability of instability coming into the near future. So it will just move based off that anticipation, but it might do like a trickle style. But if we come up here having some sort of a macro headline come out, you know, maybe over the weekend, escalations with Iran, probably that's going to be the major one. Trump released a post now that he's going to be releasing documents on extraterrestrial life. He's going to be urging the security departments to release those files on UAPs and that sort of thing. So, you know, that's pretty interesting. It's always been a theory for the US in terms of finding a new enemy as well, to keep funding the war, you know, all the wars and stuff. I don't know. We're gonna see. It's gonna be quite interesting though. But yeah, anyway, like right now we are breaking 50. We would like to break 5100. Right now the daily is at 0.23. So actually we just had a pullback. Oh yeah, it's still pulling back here on the 5-minute. On the 5-minute time frame, just had a pretty strong pullback over there. It's like completely sell off. Let's go on the 15. 15's coming down. Heavy 15-minute candle closure. No bottom wick. Just completely dumped over here. It's filling up this range on the left-hand side. Or it's trying to like fill this range. It's gonna be looking at 5,000 psychological mark. All right, let's mark that out. So we're currently trading about 5k psychological, which we already know has been the key area in the market. It's been the psychological hold for the buyers and sellers. As you can see how price has just been chopping around this area over here. It's quite an important area. That's why it's like really showing you can even really see how the market is just waiting right now, correct? Like you can see psychological number, you can see the sideways movement. We're literally just waiting. We're like in a cubicle where like everyone's just buying and selling, buying and selling, buying and selling, but it's not really going anywhere two directionally. So you see this is like literally market sentiment. This is what you need to be tapping into. You know, don't focus just onto the technicals, but actually tap into the that feeling. You know, you have to develop that feeling of market, right? And the best way to develop that is if you keep your concept simple and you follow the macro news. That's where the volume is. You know, especially if you're going to be a swing trader, you got fat stop losses, you're better off investing yourself in education to understand how macros move markets, then spend that money on a volume-based indicator, because that's all fugazi, right? The market only moves based off real-world events. Markets have never moved based off trend lines, have never moved based off indicators, correct? That would be ridiculous. So right now, it is just waiting overall for some kind of a broader sentiment to come in. Then we're going to get that flow of money back in. But until then, you know, like that's when you're going to really find profit in execution and taking profits, not always holding, but learning how to have like tighter stops, 16 pip stops, 20 pip stops, because overall the market just ranges. So if you're always looking for massive runners with big stops, it's much harder for you to get those follow throughs. But if you got like tighter stop, if you got a refined system, you're always going to be able to trade any market condition, correct? And especially when it says volume, and there's so much volume like there is currently right now, I think, you know, you only get like much better results. You only get much better results. So really lock into that aspect of trading. I think that will take you to the next level of really like upping your game, you know, and just understanding it is enough. Like if you just understand it and work towards that direction, it's really good. Because when I started, like people didn't teach it like that, right? So it was mostly to do with just pure technicals, but never like on a day-to-day basis, like actually showing and explaining and showing you the chart work of how the market sentiment is whenever we're moving like this, and how we're waiting for a news and a break above 5100 to really maximize gains hopefully into next week. So if we get that Asia session, maybe get that Asia open, that would be quite interesting to see if there was anything that popped off over the weekend. Then we get that Asia open and then start looking at some daily candlesticks above here. But what would be nice, actually, you know what would be a nice hint is if this daily candle closed like a little bit strong, and then the market open candle on Monday starts to move up like this, because that will give like a small hint, right? Because market sometimes a bit ahead of reality. So that would actually give a small hint of that directional bias that we're going to get into the next week. So yeah, that's what we're looking forward to, chat. And I think we're going to have a pretty good week up ahead. And that's going to be the last week of, what is it, January, February. Sheesh, Feb's already... We're already at the end of February? Damn. This year is going to go by so quick. Already the end of the second month over here. We're going into the last month of the quarter. We're already towards the... what do you call it? Yeah, we're approaching the third quarter. I mean, the end of the first quarter. You messed up your trade, not my day. What happened? I literally messed up my trade this morning. I scaled in by accident. Because sometimes like when you scale in, you feel like it's not being registered. Then you like hit it again and then it puts 2 in. It happened to me this morning. So it could have been a shitty day. But yeah, I just waited for price to go into profit. And when it started going to profit, I closed one position. Yeah, but this is now starting to range. Starting to range. I want to get your one-time plan. It showed it costs 350, but when I press play, it increased to 500. I think that depends. Yeah, it normally depends on the country you're from, the card you're using. But I'm pretty sure there's a crypto option. I don't think the crypto option is going to increase. That's what we call like a variable spread, right? So I don't control that. Try the crypto. And if you don't know how to use crypto in 2026, man, you gotta learn how to use crypto. That is super, super important. I was never a fan of crypto for a long time. I actually put crypto off like for super, super long. And only maybe 1.5 years ago, I started adapting it more into my finance, what do you call it? My finances. Because it is quite flexible. I should have hold it. I knew I had a drawdown. But I was, but I was on the right about the movement. Once it calmed down, I closed and started lagging. Trading view. That was the second one today. Yeah. Let's get our banner out here. Where is the Friday? Oh yeah, let's put it as a Friday banner. It breaks. It's just sharky. Yeah, it's a little sharky now. Like, look at this. There's a gap in here. We created our FXCM has some kind of a gap here. But this week has been interesting. The feeds on FXCM have been kind of on and off. There's probably no gap if you go on something like a Owanda. Yeah, Owanda's a little bit cleaner there. But right now it is choppy. Probably go on Owanda. Since there is a range right above here, potentially if like price breaks above, we might see price continue to move up towards that next resistance. These candles don't have a top wick. Oh, just one of them barely has a top wick. Well, if we start breaking, we have a range here, which is like 74 pips above resistance to potentially fill. And we got this section right here, from here to here. Got about 54 pips. And then we're in middle of a consolidation, about 130 pips. A little bit of a sideways movement. The accumulation, getting ready for distribution. Potentially to the upside. I feel like a Freaky Friday to the upside would like actually make more sense if price closes more bullish. I think that's what price is gearing up to do right now. Like consolidate is getting ready. Got some nice SMA confluences. And that's it. That's the analysis. Now you just gotta see, like, if you're gonna take a trade in here, this is the range that you're gonna take a trade in. But it looks nice on the 1 minute, like it's swinging. Nice little distribution from here. A little bit of a head and shoulders pattern with 8 SMA confluence. Sold off on the break of the lows. Here at the break of the lows, did a quick 21 pips, retrace about 8 pips, and then push down 65 pips. Retrace into drawdown 8 pips. And continue to move down. Created a support, so you got double support. You got resistance now up here. So you see it's breaking away into a new price action. So if you kind of like avoid this, you see it's kind of broken in. That was the distribution right over here, and it's broken into a new PA. So that's an accumulation that it's getting ready to break. It's getting ready for a move. It's gonna break either down here or up here and then push. Then you got resistance by 50, 50, 18. Break above here. We have clean range. That price can potentially keep moving up. Where I said I was in a buy, my stop loss was 500, but I lost 1,000. I don't know. I have to change my broker. It happened to all brokers. Yeah, that's weird. Like your stop loss 500, you lost 1,000. How did that happen? Need like a lot more context. I don't know. I feel like that's a pretty big slippage. Maybe you got caught unfortunately in a spike, in some kind of a volume spike. Maybe, but that's a big slip. But maybe you got slipped. Maybe you did get slipped. You know the funny thing about even the trade this morning? Trade this morning went in. If it went against me, I would have gotten slipped too. I would have gotten like very slipped because like it pushed. If you watch the video on my reels, it pushed kind of quick. Yeah, it pushed kind of quick. But you know the thing about the system, the TFX concepts, is we've never had that. And I keep saying this, and I don't want to jinx it. We've never had that spike in the opposite direction. Like never. I've never experienced it, I think. Like, and if I have, it's probably like it hits it out first and then spikes quickly later. But never like crazy 40 pip spike through it. If it spikes, it's always in our direction because that's where we've gotten the confirmation, right? Remember, we trade raw price action. When price tells us it's going in a certain direction, we're going with the price. You know, so if you're trading a system which is going against the price, like a fair value gap, then don't be surprised if you're using a tight stop loss and you get a spike through your stop loss, because you're selling when it's going up. So, you know, it's a no-brainer. Like that's not even gonna be a surprise anymore. You're trading against the opposite of what the market is doing. That's why we trade with the market, you know, like if it breaks above here, let's say like 50.18, then it's, you know, we're expecting it to go up bullish. And also the thing about that is usually like for a candle, if it breaks like this, it's harder for it to like, it's more difficult for it to spike in the opposite direction because it's pulling down, correct? It's pulling down. It's different from like if you're taking a sell here because of XY reasons and price is already on the way up. It's much easier. There's less resistance for it to do that because it's already on the way up. So there's some kind of a physics behind that candlestick and the way that behaves, because we've been experiencing that for like quite a long time. See TFX, yeah. Oh, TFX, how amazing that look on NAS. So you got NAS, little sell here, boom, boom, do. Yeah, it's pretty good. Very decent move, close over here. Candlestick closure. It's actually really nice. Like, if you can wait for that 1 minute to close and then get the break. So, thanks for pointing that out. I never even thought about it. But it is a really good way to confirm an entry if you have the luxury that you're gonna wait for the 1 minute close like a shotgun. What do you think about pullbacks and enter on pullbacks? That's basically the same thing, right? That's like if price comes down, pull back, you take a buy, pull back, you take a buy. So in hindsight, it looks nice, right? Like you can just get like pullbacks like this, but essentially you're just doing the same thing. Like price is coming down already. So, you know, if you take a buy and you got a tight stop loss, don't be surprised when it goes like super fast through that level. If that's what you mean, like that kind of pullback trading. All right, so like price is distributing now from the accumulation right here. It's already up about 23 pips. Pretty good. You see, that's what I mean. Like, you see, it's already in that direction. So nice. If you're in TFX concepts, you know this trade. If you took it, awesome. If you didn't take it, no problem. No problem. There's a range here that can get filled as well. But it is heading towards what do you call, like 50.25 over there now. 50.25, it should be heading. It's breaking above resistance here. About like 3 minutes 20 seconds for candlestick here to close. Pretty nice break. Wouldn't you agree? If you look at this and then look at the WAP database and how we take our trades, pretty clean. Pretty clean move. Funny thing is, it's up 0.40% right now. But it's not flipping on the daily. The daily buy is not flipping. There's a gap. Yeah, you see you got a gap over here. So the indicator, it should actually say daily buy is bullish. But since you got a small gap here, you got to look at the daily change, percent change instead. So yeah, we're actually already up 46% right now. Same strategy, different confluences to match market conditions. Yes, sir. It's crazy how we change as a trader, even being in the industry for years. Same strategy, different confluences. Gotta buy it. On does your favorite chart? Let's see. FXCM froze for a while. That's why there's a gap. Yes. FXCM's been seriously off like this week. I don't know why. So like more often this week. That would suck. Like right in the middle of a trade, and then that happens. But anyway, you're gonna see it on your broker. Enter at 08 and close at 18, maybe 100 pips. I want to see how these next candles are about to move up over here. Like 40 seconds. But that was such a clean buy. Just broke right above 50, 16. I think it came back to try and retest the high value. There's a high value area right over there. You see, it's the same thing like also this morning. It's coming back to test the high value. There's a high value zone or high volume area. High volume area over here. See, boom, get orders and then try to move up. Same thing like right here. Boom, get some orders, high volume area, try and move up. Try and push up again. It looks like the 5-minute also is closed above resistance. See how much of that distribution can actually play out from this section right here, because it came boom boom boom, close, continuation, confirmation with a 5-minute closure above resistance, break of the highs, and then to continue that direction towards the upside. That'll be sitting quite nice because break of the high here towards that next resistance, almost just about give it like 90 pips. Let's see, SMAs 1 minute. Yeah, a little bit of SMA confluence. A little kiss of death over here. Nice little SMA crossover as well. So far, not seeing any shocks in the water. Like if there's a shock in the water, then situation like this, price would come back into the range. Correct? If there was a shock in the water. But right now it's doing what PA should be doing. Because when PA moves like this, it means it's a pretty good flow, pretty good market condition. There's no shocks. There's pretty straightforward PA over here. That's what we like to see. But you see, that's the thing about the market. It's like it behaves quite well, but only if you don't overstay your welcome, right? Then you can have a bit more of some kind of a consistency over there. You just be consistently showing up to the chart. Don't overstay your welcome. Take your profit and, you know, call it a day. Already up here on the break of the highs. About like 16 pips. These pips going close to about like 20 pips over there. Another 16 pip. Stop loss even 16 pip, no problem. See, very bare minimum drawdown on that. Maybe like 2.8 pips of drawdown. Price still trying to fill up this range. We just tapped about 20 pips over there. Nice, awesome. Another TFX concept W right there. So lock in, chat. Lock in, lock in, lock in. If y'all don't know TFX concepts, then, you know, just stick with the stream. Give it time, and then you'll just see the plays happen naturally. So we just had a consolidation breakout and a shotgun play. Right now both play out, and they're heading towards 50-26 resistance over there. Let's go.
Beautiful, beautiful. Something close to genius.
Well, when he's around, you've always got a chance. Muchas gracias, afición. Este para vosotros.
You know that 90% of trading is just execution. I mean, like the psychology of trading, like 90% is like execution, right? Because if you can't execute, then that's a really big problem. That's a really big problem for a trader, is that lack of execution. Because you don't have to be a genius to make money in this field. You just have to well, you gotta have some kind of a data that you can base your actions off of, but you definitely still will need that raw execution, right? That raw execution. Like if you look at Wall Street, and if like even Robert Downey Jr. went to Wall Street, and what he said about Wall Street traders, how it's just like a place where everybody is trying to make money. A lot of like loud people, obnoxious people, everyone's just trying to get money. And that's it. Like, what does that mean? Does that mean that these are geniuses? Is that how geniuses behave? I don't think that's how a typical genius on a book would behave, correct? But what it is, it's their ability to execute that makes them, like, that raw execution and that drive that makes them a trader. You know, when you gotta like learn about trading and you're learning all about these abbreviations, this LGBTQ strategies, like that's not trading. Like trading in essence is just being able to be like that lion in the wilderness who, when he gotta see an opportunity, is gonna execute on the opportunity. It's not about like how vocabulary of the lion sounds. It's just their ability to make the right plays that matters. And most of the time, that's what business is anyway. You know, it's all about that grit. Do you have that grit? You know? Or are you getting too fancy? You know, the problem with people who get too fancy is they stay in the same place waiting for perfection. They're never going to execute. But look at this. Now price is coming up over here to 65% of the range has now been filled. And there is a bit more price to keep going up here, like, you know, 23 pips. Like 23 more pips over here. That's it. That's what we saw. We saw price accumulate. We saw a break, first entry right here. Then we said, okay, if that one did not catch that one, you wait for the next best thing, which is shotgun play. The shotgun play right over here, boom, fill up the range. That's it. That's all that market knows. It doesn't know any LGBTQ abbreviations. It doesn't understand any of that stuff. You know, it's all very confusing to the market, as it is to a lot of people. So, you know, you got to keep it simple. Keep it simple the way that the good Lord intended it to be. You know, you don't have to overcomplicate this. I'm gonna watch that go up over there. Let's see what NQ is doing. NQ has got like that weekly. It's at the bottom of the weekly support area right over here. That's gonna be looking to reject, potentially reject, and come and retest this resistance right here. So if NQ is at the bottom of the consolidation and it's an overall bullish trend, but the thing with NQ though is, okay, it moves up. This is interesting about NQ. It moves up, right? Overall, the US 100 is like NQ is gonna move up, the Nasdaq. But right now we're actually expecting dollar weakness. So that might facilitate a bit of a confusion in this PA. This is why I don't like NQ so much, because it's not as straightforward, right? Because yeah, sure, the Nasdaq and companies do well and price should go up, and it's most likely just going to keep going up. But like that little fluctuation now, when we start to get news that moves gold up, that's most likely going to weaken the dollar. That means the NQ is going to be getting like mixed signals as well, which creates some kind of a choppiness. So it's not as a clear-cut signal. But technically speaking, it should move up from this support area right over here. As we can like break above a resistance. We got a resistance over here by 24,900. The NQ is very emotional. Yeah, it can be very emotional. It can be very emotional. It's not straightforward. That's why the traders who love those abbreviations love to trade NQ so much. You know, it's a very confused pair over here. So we're gonna see. We are gonna see what happens. I personally don't know how to read macro fundamentals on this, because it's like it goes opposite, right? It's not as straightforward as gold. You see, gold is just straight. It's straightforward. It gives you your entry confirmation to know where it's going, right? So you don't want to use anything too complicated here to try and outsmart gold. When it tells you it's going in this direction, just trade in that direction. And that's the whole idea behind TFX concepts. Because you'd rather lose a trade going in the direction of price than lose a trade trying to outsmart the direction that it's going. You see what's happening here? Now the range has been filled and it's still pushing up. Let's go. And it's still pushing up over here. Look at this. That's it. That would be a trade. That's it. You're done. You don't need to overtrade. You don't need to lurk around. Like that would be it. And then, you know, just call it a session. Call it a session. Because, you know, we can be here all day calling trades, but that doesn't really help anybody. You know, for a day trader, if they sticking to like 2-3 trades maximum a day, spread out through the day, you're going to have a better probability to become more consistent. It's nothing but clean traffic ahead. Yeah, let's see. On the HTF, these zones are quite behind. So this is like a volume. And the distribution was actually quite clean. Very minimal pullbacks. Literally like no shock in the water. So far I hadn't seen a shock in the water. I'm just seeing like this was basically just setting up over here. So we just got a 1 point A, distribute, and then we got another point A, distribute towards that point B. Boom, boom. A little bit of a double confirmation for continuation. So that's like pretty good way of looking at runners as well. Because, you know, like on the first move, that already pushed up quite decently. Like if you look at this, all right, let's say you get a buy like right here. 16, 20 pip stop loss. Let's just go even like 20 pip stop. I think on Owanda, we need to put another digit here and here. The break, boom, 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 of like 20 pip. But now you're thinking to yourself, all right, so if I want to hold a runner, what is the probability that this price here can continue to run, right? So you got to look at now the other time frame on the 5 minute. So say, okay, you know what, take a buy over here. If I want to hold a runner, I got a pretty good chance at that runner because we have this zone to trade and we got this zone here to fill up. And look at this, and I filled up right towards like 50, 26, you know, and that would be the idea. Because beyond 50.26, we don't have any more price action over here. You know, all that we're going to have here at this point is just going to be some kind of a resistance, you know, and then price is not going to be able to move up there because we got too much resistance. But you see this? This is it. This is the trade that we called out for Freaky Friday. We can just say today's XAUSD buys called. Remember, still the same stop losses, same stop losses. Stop losses don't change. They stay the same. 16 pip stop loss, 20 pip stop loss, that will remain the same. That will not change. Right? So you don't have to struggle too much about thinking of where to put your stop. Both entries 0 drawdown. Yeah, 0 drawdown. Like that's the thing. Like that's a high value area. Right? So the whole idea is like, how can we execute in a way that has some kind of stronger confirmation that we get 0 drawdown? You know, like, or get very minimal drawdown, because when we get stuck in, we want to get stuck in with confidence, right? So we want those areas to be a high confidence area. But if you're going to take like trades, like random trades, most of the time, like random trades, you're going to find more randomized results. But if you can keep it consistent and have that system which shows you conviction when you get your entries most of the time, then that's what you're going for. Because it's not only you who's seeing that, right? It's a bunch of people who are seeing that as well. Always remember that, like, if you got like a consistent edge in the market, there's a high probability you're not the only one seeing that edge. There's going to be market participants who are also looking at the market in a similar fashion as you, because the market only moves in 3 directions. Correct? Like, there's only so much room that you can reinvent the wheel in the market when candlesticks only print a certain way before distributing towards the upside. You know, there's only a finite amount of ways that you can catch such a move and like understand such a move like this. And that's the reason why we know that by the time we get to resistance, there's a high chance of a reversal, right? Because this is the data that we have. This is the data that we have. There's like, that's the thing, like, you got to chop up the market in a way that you have to see all the angles, right? You find all the angles and you find your seat at the table and you consistently keep executing that same way, right? And then you're locked into the market, you're locked into other market participants. It doesn't mean that all trading TFX concepts, they could be getting in based off of their own way of understanding, but they could always be super close to your entries, but understanding slightly different. Correct? Like, maybe they got different reasons, but it's more or less like that entry point that you want to be in line with these market participants that gives conviction. So you can see, like, right here, boom, boom, boom. This was now the shotgun play that was right above here. Also pushed up initially. How many pips was that? Like on the break, on the rip, like about 24 pips, came back in, a little bit of a retest. You see the same psychology that happened here as well. That's happening here too. Price pushes up, usually come back, retest, and continue to move up. Price pushes up, come back, retest, and continue to move up bullish. Literally like the same thing this morning. Price pushes up, come back, retest. So you see, we're locked in, man. We're locked in. That's the thing. That's a beautiful thing about having a strategy and concepts that you fully understand, because you're in sync with the market participants. Correct? That's what makes trading beautiful. Because you're not trying to you're not trying to be like a lone wolf. Like, in reality, there's a very low chance if you're profitable that you're getting like a strategy that's a super secret strategy. You know what I mean? There's no super secret strategy. So that's why I say learn how to read candlesticks. When you're using volume indicators, like, first of all, if you put all the volume indicators that ever existed onto your chart, there's a high probability that they're not all lining up. One is going to say big bubble. Other one's going to say small bubble. You know? But one thing that doesn't change, candlesticks. Candles don't change. That's how the IRS busts hedge funds who get into positions before a certain event. Because they can see it in the candlesticks. They don't need to have like any kind of like a special software. You can see it in the candle, because a candle you cannot put 100 million into the market and expect the candlestick to remain the same. It's going to move the candle. is going to create, you know, some kind of a price movement. So learn how to read candlesticks. If you can't read candles, you can't trade. It's as simple as that. There's not going to be no fancy indicator that's ever going to save you here. Like this, take a buy. Very nice. Clean range. Got in a bit early on this break. Why didn't you wait for the wick to break? That would have been like a much safer option here. But I see you got like 2 dubs for the day. Look at this. Nice. 1 dub, 1 dub. Simple. This is a much cleaner PA right here. That second PA was very clean. If you cannot read candlesticks, but you can read LGBTQ, FEG, OB, IPDA, and all of these abbreviations, then there's something wrong with you. Like, you're not trading, you're just doing something completely different. You know? And I think it's important that I say this because you're not going to get anybody else say this anywhere else on YouTube as far as I'm concerned. So it's important that somebody can say something, you know. A lot of the time people are just gonna say and do what everybody else is doing, but that's not right. You gotta say the truth. You gotta say what you really think of what's going on. But now look at this. Price is coming up here. We're at like 50.26, and now it's gonna have to set up again. It's gonna have to set something up again over here, and then to try and to continue to move bullish. Then it will try, but you see the probability here is a bit thin, right? The air gets a bit thinner up here because you are at a resistance. Whereas you can even say, like, if you know how to read candlesticks, then you'll be able to understand this a lot clearer, which is actually very not complicated at all. So I think anybody who doesn't even have even someone with 3 months experience in the market can tell the difference between price action here and a price action that's above towards a resistance zone. See this? This is it. This is above resistance. So what do we know about candles? Like when they're next to resistance, we have to accumulate again, which is the market is trying to do right now. It's trying to accumulate again, because for price to continue to move bullish, it's got to accumulate orders again, get more market participants involved, and then attempt to break the price points by like 50.27 so it can continue to push up. Simple. You know, it's not like a crazy mathematics that accumulation and distribution needs to occur for a market to move. Correct? Like, and that's a beautiful thing about the way we look up a chart work over here. It's not complicated. Even just the way, like Epstein said, like most traders just need to learn how to add. And Wall Street, most of them would just add. 15% would just learn how to multiply. But for market to move up right now, we just need that accumulation of orders in. And it's going to move up. It's going to distribute up. You know, then it's going to have a better chance to continue to move up. Right over here when it starts breaking above 50.27. So no Fugazi, no Fugazi, just pure price action. Raw price action. Because remember, at the end of the day, it's like also going to be people who move the market. It's not going to be synthetic movement of markets. These are going to be like a human psychology behind markets, and that's why trading is so difficult as well, is because people they don't want to understand human psychology in that sense in terms of market candlesticks. They would rather put boom indicator and say that's it, that's my job done. But truly, when you start looking at candles in terms of like a human psychology, that's when you take your trading to the next level, right? That's when you start finding those pinpoint entries and confidence in those setups. Because the market has like some kind of a language over here, correct? They're going to have a language that it's speaking. And you got to learn how to read that language. You know, it's like the same thing, you know, like Elon Musk is doing. He's creating a software which wants to kind of bring the internet together, as he was talking about this in one interview, where he wants to make this system like it's going to be like an organism where he's going to have data of everybody. It's already like what Facebook and marketing companies already try and do. They try to accumulate data and build like a brain, like one brain. And then I know in that interview, you know, when Elon speaks, he's very intelligent, right? But he's trying to do that to solve problems. So he was explaining like even though he's so smart, he can't have SpaceX without other people who know how to build rockets. He can't build rockets himself, right? So it's all about like working together and achieving new levels of intelligence. So when you look at the market in a similar fashion, the candlesticks move as one organism, one brain. But we're moving in unison despite everybody's different outlooks on the market. But there's that still same underlining thing that keeps it going in certain direction. Correct? Just like the way the brain works. You gotta have some neurons fire off left. You gotta have some neurons fire off right. But like in the end, they're all kind of coming together and creating like some kind of a communication. Right? So that's what it is when you're looking at markets. And when you get to a much higher level of understanding price and charts, you get to understand markets in that same way. And you will see for a lot of traders, it's mostly like a feeling thing. That's why they say it's very difficult to teach psychology, because you first have to have the proper foundation to get to a point where we can even communicate. Because if you're coming from a completely different realm of understanding, then communication becomes difficult. And you're going to have to unlearn what you think you already know and then relearn from like a proper foundation that you can keep moving correctly. So that's what, you know, that's what currently the market's doing. So now it's like starting to break. It's attempting to break again, small little accumulation. It needs the orders in to actually get through this mark over here. That's going to be that resistance. That accumulation could look a lot nicer though. On the setting up here, but it got a slight sideways movement, a slight pause. It's trying to move up. It's got a lot of heavy lifting to do by these highs right over here. You got stopped? Why'd you get stopped? How did you get stopped? So far, there's not been any pullback. So if you are going with a market direction, there has not been a pullback. Even if you take a buy here, you know, it's only pulled back like 4.2 pips. It peaked about 15. If you even took a buy here, 32. Like literally anywhere you took a buy within this area, unless you rushed it here for some reason. But remember, this was the resistance on the 5-minute that came to tap that resistance. So what you got the pullback was actually profit taking. That's why you got a pullback. You see, so you're not communicating with the market correctly. The market had already had its move. It's accumulating. See, it's trying to break through that level. It already had its move. So this is profit taking from here. So you're getting in at that wrong mark. Like if you literally took it at any other point, you could have like already been in profit here. Even the buys up here still played out about like 30 pips now. Although that accumulation arguably could look a lot more cleaner, but it is there. I can see it. It's just like, you know, like when you speak to somebody who doesn't know like proper English, but you can kind of like understand what they're saying. That's what it is. That's the kind of move that it just had. So you see, very important, guys. Very important. All this is super, super important. If you don't understand this, then I think like, okay, write a 1 if you understand everything I said so far. Write a 2 if you didn't. Just honestly, just be honest, guys. You know, life's just about elevating. Just, you know, honesty is good. Like if you understood what I said, write a 1. If you didn't, write a 2, and that's okay as well. Because, you know, I'm just talking stuff that is from my experience. It might not resonate with your reality, and it doesn't mean that it is the end all and be all, you know. I got some 1s. Good stuff, good stuff. At least good to see. Because I try and make it make sense. I don't want to say things that comes across like I'm hating on something or I'm trying to downplay something and upplay something else. I want it to make sense. If that makes sense, then, you know, that's on me, I guess. But if it makes sense, then awesome. because that's the whole thing about markets and trading, right? We want to be as objective as possible in the markets. As much as we all have our own systems that we look at, and we just want to have that. Remember, it's that objectivity. Neurons are firing everywhere. You might be using indicators and all this and that, but we have to have some kind of a objectivity in the end. We have to somehow meet somewhere, you know, and that's kind of what facilitates profitability, because you don't all have to trade the same to be profitable, but you have to be getting in at somewhat the like these high value areas. However you get your seat at the table, that's up to you, but like you have to find yourself at the table. Right, so you're gonna have some people sit far right hand side, far left hand side, some all the way at the top, some all the way at the bottom, but we're all at the same table. That's the important thing. We're all at the same table. That's how it works. Because again, markets, there's no secret moves happening here. Everybody who's looking at the market, we're all looking at that same move. Guy in Tokyo, guy in freaking Thailand, you know, all around the world, we're all looking at the same thing. Imagine that. And we can still communicate, even not even knowing each other at all. You know, that's the whole idea. That's how even when hedge funds go against each other, like when market makers go against each other, it's the same psychological play of, let me create this falsehood to lure this guy in to try and trap to make this move happen. Like there is that aspect of the trading world as well, where it's like you're trying to outsmart the other guy because now you're at a different level, you know. But since as a retail trader, we don't have to be, we're not at that level, so we can't think at that level. So we got to think in a way that we can just like move in unison with the market instead of trying to outsmart it. So if it's moving up, we move up. If it moves down, gives confirmations to move down, we got to move down. The last trade of the week done. That was fast. Oh, nice. Very good. How many trades you take today? Yeah, right now I've taken like about, I guess, 2 trades. Two trades, although that's just one trade. Actually, that's just one trade, but yeah. Took 4 in total. Sheesh. 1 L, 3 dubs. What EMAs you use? What's it called? Like 50 and 8. You can download them in the description box. Do you trade NY session? Yeah, I do trade NY session, but we don't trade NY session on stream. Sometimes I trade NY. Like if the trade comes really late, then I could trade NY. But most of the time, we're gonna trade either pre-London, London, and pre-NY. Pre-NY session time. There's nothing wrong with the New York. I think it's just the New York is pretty much the last session of the day, and if I traded the NY session, then I'll be trading the whole day. So imagine that from like the pre-London. Actually, like that's pre-London is even considered like Asia. That's basically that Asia time. Asia pre-London to London to New York. That's the whole day. Actually, if you live in Asia, it's pretty nice for a pre-London trader such as myself. Because, you know, you can wake up, you can take your time, and then, yeah, you got like the time zone in your favor. Waiting for a setup. Yeah, waiting. Oh, that's Nightbot. Reading Nightbot. Nightbot said, waiting for a setup. Question mark. London open for you is 4 p.m. Yeah, I see, it's pretty good. London open at 4 p.m. Sheesh. Woods is ending his day here, whilst I am just starting mine. Yeah, but that's nice. 4 p.m. Actually, I don't know. Like 4 p.m. It does give you a lot of time. Yeah, man, you can do whatever you want throughout the whole day till 4 p.m. It's not bad too. I kind of like the idea of getting it done early though. So you like wake up, you get it done, and then you move on. You can like focus your rest of your day as well. Eastern timing struggles though. It's sometimes like 4 a.m. like 3 a.m. Eastern. That's like super early mornings. But if you're committed to it, you're gonna do it. I was super committed to the Asia session for quite a long time. I traded like the Asia consistently. That was like pretty early morning hours for me at the time. Yeah, I consider it pretty consistent. Like you'll find ways, and the thing is that I used to swing trade it as well, so it was actually even more difficult because you'd wake up random hours in the night because price would just randomly move and you'd get your alerts. So you never really get any true sleep. But yeah, you gotta always find a way, like especially if you got a system which is only like 1 or 2 hours. Most of the time you are getting it within the first 30 minutes. Like this morning, I think how long it take? About 20 minutes to catch it. It's also good. It's something that would have been like very helpful for me when I was learning. But you see that knowledge, it was not there. I didn't have the knowledge, so you know it takes time. You gotta like figure it out. There's a lot I had to figure out on my own, chat. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like I learned so much from a lot of people, but what they did for me was they created for me like a foundation, which is always the most important thing that you can create for a trader, is like a solid foundation. So I had a solid foundation that was formed, you know, very solid. So what happens is you don't get discouraged and you're able to move more correctly, focusing on the right things. Because a lot of people have a problem with discouragement because they're overcomplicating, so it feels overwhelming, and they feel that they're not doing something right. But it's not that they're not doing something right. It's just that they've not moved like with a good foundation. You know, because it's the same way like entrepreneurship. Like sometimes as an entrepreneur, you feel like you could be a failure. But when you got like a good foundation of entrepreneurship, let's say if you have like a mentor, some family member teach you about what it takes to be an entrepreneur, like the difficult times, the good times, and your overall mindset, you have a strong foundation, so you don't get as discouraged. That's why a lot of people, they keep going until they make it. Like some people only make it until, you know, their mid-30s, their 40s. I think Denzel Washington's, like, for example, made it only like when he was in his 40s. Steve Harvey made it when he was in his like mid-30s or something like that, you know? Like, but it's all just about that mindset, that foundation first and foremost that gets you to where you need to go. So that's kind of like what we're kind of like, you know, teaching over here. And you see price is still moving up. Look at this. Price is still moving up over here. So if you're like trying to counter trend it, you know, pretty low probability that you're going to get a counter trend move. Right over there. So when price says it's moving bullish, man, look at this. We just had the spike right now. The same spike I had this morning. This was the same spike I had this morning. Look at this. It's just, but this was slightly a bit more polite. But if you got in earlier here, that would have been like a quick 30 pip. But it just had like a nice little spike up. You see this? Because guess what? You're moving in the direction. You're moving in that direction. So if you're taking a sell and you're wondering why you're getting slipped, is because you're doing the opposite of what the market is doing. So there's a higher chance that it's just going to keep spiking in your direction if you're moving with it. Yeah, this thing is long gone right now. So about like almost 200 pips from the initial entry down over here. Also from the shotgun play, no pullback. And you see what's going on right here? You see how it's coming from the inception? Man, this is nothing new, chat. Like if you've been watching this stream for at least the last 3 months, man, you know this is nothing new. This is nothing new. This is not like we're calling stuff in hindsight. We literally talk about this like every single day for as long as that we've been streaming. When we got our simulation sessions in the live streams, man, this is the same thing we talk about literally every single time. Right? It's all about like finding that edge in the market, perfecting that edge, and truly understanding that edge, and then replicating it. You know, and then every week you will start to see it unfold. and it becomes like a lot more simpler for you. But you see this, I got a point A right over here, boom, 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 distribution. It's still coming out of this zone. So as well as I like to say, you got to track the bear back to the cave and say, okay, you know, like what happened over here? We saw price retrace, it accumulated. There's like no real direction. You see, now this is where that objectivity comes in as well, right? If you don't have objectivity, if you don't know how to read candlesticks, then what you're looking at is maybe some retracement down over here, maybe a fair value gap, I'm not sure, somewhere around here. You're seeing a lot more complicated stuff, right? But if you got that objectivity and just look at the market for what it is, you can see that it came down. We can see it came down and then it stopped, right? It stopped. Now when that stopped, you're always trying to see where your edge is, right? So that's what the whole idea behind understanding this strategy was to understand, okay, so you know, like if we're getting that move, how can I track this? You know, it's like if you're gonna be a hunter in the wilderness and you're trying to track that animal, you know, there's like a bear lurking around, the village needs to eat, and you're trying to figure out, where's this bear? You know, where's this bear coming from? So you gotta go and see like its footprints. So you gotta track the bear, and you're gonna see, okay, so I found the bear cave. Nice. So now I know where the bear cave is. So you're gonna run back to the village. You're gonna gather your troops, and you're gonna tell your troops, hey, so this is the plan now. We know where the bears are hanging out. So we gotta plan a time every day, or like a bear watering hole or whatever it could be. We gotta plan a time every day that we're gonna go to that place and that we're gonna try and execute something. You know, we're gonna try to execute something. Especially with like a watering hole. And you know, like this is a time that they're gonna come, that we're gonna find and execute. Just like a crocodile would, you know, a crocodile knows that, hey, let me just hang around here for a bit. These gazelles gonna come into the watering hole at some time, you know, when it gets hot. Then I'm gonna execute. So that's what it is. You see this? Because this is what everyone's trying to catch. Right over here. But we want to catch it with conviction. We want to catch it with directional confirmation. We don't want to just assume and guess that this pullback here. That's what a lot of people who don't know what they're doing do, and they call it buying the dip. Right? It will be the same thing as buying the dip. We don't want to do this and get lucky like that. We would rather come in later and then get the confirmation instead. Right? It's not about getting the perfect entry like through the wick. It's about getting and going through. They typically say the meat of the move is within the ranges anyway. That's where the meat of the move is. So we're trying to get like the meat of the move, because we don't need to be correct here. We just need to have conviction here that price can keep moving up. So it's like a big difference between guessing, this is like guesswork, and getting confirmation based off of structure and your TFX entry confirmations. And if you look at all the plays that we have, break and retest, which, you know, we haven't used break and retest since I think 2024. But the same idea behind break and retest, the market fade entry, it's always to do with the direction. So if you got like, let's say a break and retest, you see break and retest of a level, but it needs to break the high to confirm direction. If you like a market fade, it comes in like this, get some rejection wicks, maybe a liquidity grab, it breaks the low, it's confirming the direction. So like an accumulation break, breaks a high, will confirm the direction. Or you see like a shotgun entry model, candle closes, breaks a high, confirms the direction. Correct? So we're always moving in direction of the market. And you find yourself in much more profitable scenarios if you do that. Vic, it's me, Eisen from 2 Year. I'm going to join trading firm and trade there. Oh, really? Very nice. You're gonna send us a picture of your desk. Secured 12 pips and exited early. Okay, so nice. You got a little break. a break, a little continuation. Would have been much cleaner, but yeah, I guess it was like you just got in on the break. I personally would have. Oh, actually, wait, no, boom, boom, boom. Yeah, that's actually still fine. It's still fine. It's not the cleanest, but I can see it for sure. Like the confirmation is there. It would be nice to have like a little bit extra, but I think it was a pretty good move. B16 1633. See, the L was against the trend on gold. First trade of the morning was my setup. It hit SL, went like 5 pips, consolidated in that zone, then moved down. I almost right by 5 pips. Oh, damn. Yeah, because it was kind of moving up. Sheesh, it got you right at the reversal. Because it put a stop loss above this wick. So probably like kind of like an easy target for it to see. Boom, stopped out and then moved down. Yeah, it's still flying over here. This thing is still flying. Price is moving up to make weekly candle. Oh, right. We had the weekly that's created the weekly. The candle flipped. So that's what we were looking for yesterday. We wanted to see that the weekly candlestick flip. Yeah, I flipped on Freaky Friday. Nice little rejections, a little bit of liquidity grab. Looks like this thing is, it looks like it's setting up for a pretty good week up ahead for next week. So keep in touch, chat. Like, stay tuned with news for the weekend. Because like when you're gonna see price move next week, you're gonna know why it moved. And then you're gonna execute, and your first trade of the week is gonna be taken with like a confidence, But that's it, like this is where the TFX concepts came in line with the London Open. Right over here, boom, 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 right with the London Open. You can see that perfect timing, and then in and out. So for price to move from here, 20 pip. 1-1 runner resistance. That's how much room you had. So 1-1 securing, that's also fine. Runner was towards resistance. So rejections could happen anywhere between here where you took the trade. You don't even have to hold it all the way till there, but that price can move. So even you can secure like here 43 pips, 65%, or maybe even just leave like a tiny 10% running towards that resistance, or maybe even just through that resistance if it just kept running. But the important thing is that where the entry came from. That's the thing about trading. You don't, even if you're good at demo trading, you should be able to do it on a live account as well. If you treat the demo as much as possible as a real account, you trick your psychology into thinking like this is a real account, then you will not have a problem to translate those skills over to a live account. Right? Because in trading, it's a very skill-oriented thing, right? It has nothing to do with luck. So you might be seeing people making profits and stuff like with funded programs, but that's more of like a luck perspective of trading. Because if somebody was to give you an account, like an actual trader would be given an account to trade for a period of time, would you be able to trade that account normally, like without any trying to get lucky, trying to pay low fees to get funded and all of these things? Can you actually maintain an actual account? You know what I mean? Like that's the important thing that you want to focus on. So that's why I say, like, even if you can't afford to trade, it's still a skill which I think if it was taught to more people could be quite beneficial. Right? And if you're gonna trade like a demo account, trade a demo account with like the same amount that you plan to add in the future. Whether that's gonna be like $500, $1,000, trade that same demo account size and then treat it like it's a live account until you can afford to be on a live account. And then even when you're on a live account, you got to still manage your risk and then reduce your risk. And as long as you can get in, the positions like this and have most of the time price go in your favor. At least a 1-to-1. That's what most traders should be focusing on in the beginning. You know, at least try and capture 1-to-1s and see how often that you can do that and how often that your running trades run, and then start collecting that data. Right? Because a lot of the time, a lot of new traders are trying to catch a 1-to-2 because somebody told them you only need to win 50% of the time. That's very discouraging, because catching a 1-to-2 in the market based off that knowledge that most traders would have at that point in their trading career would be very, very difficult. So yeah, you just have to win like 50%, but you're gonna lose a lot of the time. You might not be consistent, and that will give you a lot of discouragement when you see bleeding. You know, like your account's gonna bleed like somewhat like this. You lose like so often, and then that discourages you a lot. Rather than if you like secure 1-to-1, 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 get a few wins under your belt, and just keep going in that direction. That's the best way you're gonna build like a solid foundation. But yeah, I think you gotta focus on that, because like even most of these trades were already up for the month like 55%. I'm not necessarily catching 1-to-3s, right? I'm playing it based as off percentage risk, so I could risk like 2% and still make 2% in a 1-to-1, and then it becomes a lot easier. And the thing is, like, you're always trying to control what you can control. I can't control risk to reward. I can control my percentage gains, but I can't control the risk to reward. You know, so always look at trading from that lens of focus on what you can control. Right? You're all trying to control things you can't control. Focus on that. Focus on what you can control. Oh, nice. Look at this. Okay, so Goldie psychological at 5K being respected beautifully. Actually, we remove this lines here because price did not come down. But we had a... where is this? Gonna put that on there. We had a 5,000 psychological right here. And let's see, gold above 5,000. As geopolitics drive safe haven demand, I'm telling you, chat, I'm telling you, gold prices hold above $5,000 mark as the US military buildup in the Middle East and fears of potential strike against Iran lifted demand for the safe haven asset. I tell you, chat, like, pay attention to this weekend. This weekend, we might have a headline drop. You know, we might have some bombs dropped over there, or like something might happen, but pay attention. The market loves to do this. Trump loves to do this because Trump is a very smart man. He makes a lot of money, that guy. Love him or hate him. Very smart man. He's going to make this happen. If it's something big is going to happen, it's going to happen over the weekend when you can't access the market, but other people can. In early trading, futures in New York rise 0.7 because the market's always moving, right? Futures in New York rise 0.7, 50.30 a troy ounce. Prices have been volatile since a sharp correction from January's record highs. Driven partly by speculative trading, but underlying supply factors, including geopolitical risks and shift away from traditional assets, remain in place. The outlook for US interest rate remains another key driver with investors. And you see, it's like we've been having a lot of distraction away from what's happening in Iran, if you've noticed on late. Like, the social media is not putting it too much in the front at this point in time. So there's a lot of distractions of what's actually happening behind the curtain. So when it happens, it's got to be like some kind of a surprise. So, you know, that's what we've been seeing of late. A lot of these surprises even happened to the Venezuelan president when he got captured. That was like a surprise, right? So obviously, due to national intelligence, such things are hidden until after the fact. So as traders, we just kind of want to be on our toes. We don't have to be there ready for the Asia Open necessarily. But if you do see that headline, I know even me coming into a pre-London time, that price is going to move quite nicely and without any shocks in the water. So that can give you a very good start into the week up ahead. And we already know our targets over here. We know price coming up towards like 5,100 and it's going to be heading up towards that 4,500 mark towards the ATH. And that's what we're going to be trading for next week. And that's going to make trading a lot more straightforward, especially once we break above 5,100. And that's it. Boom. Focus on what works. Focus on reality. Don't focus on LGBTQ systems. Focus on reality, you know. Look at the way price is moving and look at what's moving price. And then have a system in place that is able to accommodate the way price moves. Not the way you want price to move, but the way price moves. It's a big difference. Most of my trades go where I want, but my issue is I want to secure capital, I guess, too fast after 30-40 pips. I do BE, so a lot of times I get wrecked at BE, and then it runs the way I expected. Now you see, this is the thing, not what you want. You got to do what the market is giving you. So if you're getting like 30-40 pips, you got to secure at 30-40 pips, because then that means that that's going to be the data for your system, right? That's the same reason I always secure. Most of the time I always secure at either 16 pips or 20 pips, because I know that by the time we get there, price is going to most likely go against me, right? So at 16 pips, secure something, 20 pips, secure something. Like this morning as well, I wanted to secure at, you know, roughly at like around 60, I was like 16, 17 pips. But when it was pushing up the second time, it went and, or not, like when it was starting to push up, it went, but it spiked. So it gave me a lot more than I had wanted to get. Then it's like, wow, that's awesome. So I was able to make more, you know? So it's a nice scenario that we can find ourselves in. But like when you're always attempting to find something higher, most of the time you're going to get stopped at BE. So look at your system. It could be something to do if you're too worried about risk to reward. Start focusing on how you can reduce your risk, because the risk part can be variable. You could start with a 1-to-1, and let's say it moves up for you like 20 pips. Then your risk reward changes as price is moving in your direction. It changes. It doesn't stay the same. Even though you got into it like, let's say, a 1-to-1, by the time it moves up, it changes. It can even become, in principle, a 1-to-3 if you reduce it, or even a 1-to-10, depending on how much you reduce it, or a break even, a risk-free trade. Because now you're focusing on what you can control, right? So, but if the market is giving you like 30-40 pips, then, you know, you got to secure at 30-40 pips. Or if the market tells you that there is some kind of a structure here, then you have to accept the fact that even if you want price to move through that structure, that it's going to have a reaction off of that structure. As you can see right over here, you see like price pushed up. We know that it can bounce through this level. So instead of like holding a potential losing trade, we are either going to secure the full position or secure like a partial of the position, because we know that from this point onwards, price can go against us. So you see, again, it's just reading what the market says and reacting to it. And that way you don't have to overcomplicate your outlook on markets. You know, market structure is king, price is king. Just the way in like Formula 1 they say cash is king, price is king, my friend. Like, I'm telling you that I'm so confident about this because I know why 90% of traders are losing. I know exactly why that is. The more I'm on social media, the more I'm also understanding and gathering data. Because you see, the thing about trading, it's a very lonely game. I could do this myself and not be involved in social media, which a lot of people do. But the benefit of being on social media is you not only are able to run a secondary business, which can give you or provide you potential passive income, which can cover my commissions, but it can give you like some kind of like a further growth, definitely. But at the same time, for as a trader perspective, you learn a lot about the pitfalls of why traders are failing, right? It's the same way if you watch Roger Banks' interview, he was talking about as well how people like overcomplicate their trading, and that he has the data because he has a broker. So he has the data of how people are going to think, right? And he found that most people who are successful on his Dominion markets, they're the ones who are using more simple approaches. But you see, on social media, you guys don't have the data. That's why I even told you, and I could feel this as well, but you guys don't even have that data. You're only seeing somebody with a lot of views or somebody with a nice car who you don't even fucking know, and you assume because the community is big that people are making money using certain things. But man, even like Roger tells you, like, he's got the data. I'm telling you, I'm on social media. I see it now for the amount of years that I've been doing it. the reason why most people are failing in this industry. It's so obvious, but the problem is only a select few people who are gonna break the matrix can see it, because just like I always say in the matrix, you're always gonna have the majority of people trying to protect it. So even like what I'm saying, like majority of people construct the matrix, so they're gonna try and protect the system, but only a few people are gonna see it, and then you gotta have that small percent of people who are actually consistent. It's all about not being influenced in the wrong way, and you just have to have a good character development already innately in yourself and your ability to actually like see what's a good foundation and what may not be a good foundation to move forward. So it's a very like personal thing. But like when somebody says it like that, it will kind of sound obvious now. So at least you know that you're not crazy for thinking that maybe you all have felt like a black sheep. Like, I'm always trying to get out to like one person in the chat, I was trying to get out to one person in the chat. So if you feel like you're crazy for being like a black sheep, trust me, you're not crazy, bruh. You're not crazy. Because I felt like the black sheep for a long time throughout my whole trading career, because everybody was like on a bandwagon of thinking the same way based on how large a community is. But if you feel that there's a certain approach towards markets that you feel and you can see that is playing out for you, like stick with that system, right? So you might have to build that system as well. Like I had to build this system, but using the knowledge and foundation of some of the things that are in your community as well could help, provided they're teaching you how to read raw price action and not some very intricate way of looking at markets. Provided just that simple thing, then you will already be having a good foundation. Because trust me, like a lot of the time people say like fair value gaps and stuff are a price action. It's not price action. Price action is what you see, the autonomy of candlesticks. You got bullish candles, you got bearish candles, you got ranges, you got down movement, side movement, up movement. Just the pure bare bone foundations. When you start refining and start drawing wicks, like zones from a wick here to a wick here, when was that ever written that was going to be a price action, when all this time we're going to have candlesticks just moving, creating support, resistance, supply and demand? Those are the true foundations. Yes, you can get certain hit rates and certain reactions off of that, but you can also draw a line anywhere in the market, go back enough and get a reaction like I just did right here. So it's just a question of delusion and focusing on what needs to be focused on. That's all that it is. But if it works, awesome. If it works, keep doing it, But you got to make sure that it's working so you don't waste time. Because the last thing you want to do in this industry is waste time. Price broke these highs and pushed with high volume to the upside, creating a high volume area. Oh, it came to retest still this zone. It's like distribution though. This is a nice distribution right over here. This would be the initial entry. Boom, boom. Yeah, sometimes it does that too. Like it will give like a much wider gap in between from where this and this was, because like the understanding is that this is not necessarily meaning that this is going to be the entry, because you don't want to do that. Because what's going to happen is if you do this, what you're going to be doing now is you're going to be looking for plays that already played out and then looking to get back in like this. But essentially, you always want to be looking for the fresh moves, right? So you can see that came in. Yeah, you perfectly drew it here. That is the break. And then it came and then it's set up again right over here. So that would have been your continuation play. Because also the risky part is because the market conditions slightly change. Like when it comes back here. Because every moment in the market's unique. So it can slightly change. So you want to get that additional confirmation. But yeah, very well done. Boom, boom, boom. Retest. Price came back to retest. A high volume area, then continue the movement. Yeah, exactly. Close early, but catch at 40 pips. See, break of structure. Nice. Break of structure to continue moving up. You know, this was like also a session bias here. So it looks like since the London Open, since we got London Open down here, so it's just been like a session bias. That if you're looking for sells, there's a high probability you'd have lost your sell entry confirmations. But if you're looking for the buys, you know, it played out really good. But you see, that's because also the market showed you the direction, right? It kept breaking structure towards where you where it wants to go. Awesome. Keep doing that. Just keep focusing on that, and I think you're going to be in the right place. You're going to be in the right place, especially when market starts to trend again. I believe we should be having trending moves like into next week, hopefully. Just need to get above 5100 and then see that happen. And you're gonna have a good time. Do. You just trade with the market. If it goes up, you go up. I can recommend what's this? I can recommend to use VWAP plus deviation band plus session anchor. Then you can see how to trail SL with big runs. Nice. Yeah, we're gonna trail SL with SL. We can trail with TFX concepts, so the SMAs. If you want to use the SMAs, typically we're gonna use like on the, depending on how big. If it's a very strong push and it's moving like in profit really nicely, you trail on the 1 minute. You trail on the 1 minute, right? Because you could have still held all the way up until here, until the candlestick finally broke the 1 minute, which would have been just by that 65% mark. All right, so it's like it's pushing nicely, and you don't want to really get back any profits. But otherwise, if you kind of like slow on the process of taking profit, the 5 minutes, usually the 1 or the 5 minute that we use. Okay, now the 5 minute, you see you get it all the way up over here. So instead of like that 65%, you get it right all the way up here. So you see once it crosses over, see what happens? There's a higher potential that it is going to pull back. Okay, see now it's like pulling back over here. So we did that a lot in our simulation sessions. I typically don't like to hold like that because I will rather secure the profit based off the percentage gains that I'm at. So if it's like 2% or 4%, I still think it's pretty nice. Pretty nice to secure, risking like 2% a trade. But if you are trying to flip a challenge or flip an account or something of the sort, then it's a pretty nice tool to use to maximize your gains. Today is not the day to overtrade, but why do I want to do that? Don't do it on a Friday, my friend. Friday is going to get you. That's when you're going to ruin it. You're ruining it. You're ruining it. But so far, Freaky Friday's been good. You know why Friday's been good? It's because Thursday and Friday have been good. Actually, like after stream, I took a loss though. I took a trade after stream. It was also another consolidation, but I lost about 2%. So ended the day about like 1.20, like let's say 1.20 gross. That's how much I ended the day yesterday. So I took a buy yesterday, and it came so close to hitting my take profit. Then it like reversed. Then it reversed on me. Still managed to secure something though for the day, at least end at 1%. And then today, but I would say Thursday was a pretty good day. Thursday, Friday, because Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday were kind of choppy in the beginning of the week. Like it's been kind of a difficult week. It's been kind of a difficult week. So I think like towards the end of the week, eventually, like, you know, obviously start to open up a bit more. That's typically what will happen, because a weekly candle, remember, it also consolidates. It's like it can hold on the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then it starts to open up a bit more as the candle is about to close, just like we see on the LTF as well. You see, so that thing vice versa, it happens. Lower time frame, higher time frame. It's all a matter of like, can you actually read candles? If you can't read candles, then you won't be able to understand these fluctuations, especially how the market is fractal and all of these things. They really do help your understanding of it. You know, it's like if you think about like a cameraman can see the outside of the camera. He understands the outside, and he understands the parts inside as well. Correct? But when you got like systems which are super specialized, like obviously the most famous one we always talk about here on the channel, which is ICT. You know, like no shade, but you know, it's the most famous one. Like So like ICT is more of like, he's a specialized guy. So, you know, you got the camera, you got the inside of the camera, but it's more specialized towards like certain parts. Like maybe he can fix a certain part of the camera. That's what you're learning, but you're not learning actually what you should be learning, the whole camera outside and inside. You're gonna learn how to fix one part of the camera. So it's even better if you still want to, because it's super popular. I gotta admit, like a huge percentage of my chat and people on YouTube trade ICT, right? But if you wanted to trade that system, let's say right now you're fully into it, you're fully committed to it, learn at least first the foundation, and then work your way inside the specialized parts of the camera. That's what I would suggest to you, because the worst thing you want to do is waste the whole of 2026 learning just one part of the camera. Because now next year, you're going to have to learn the whole part of the camera. It's going to take you longer to be profitable, right? But if you focus the other way around, even if this year you didn't learn the profitability from understanding the outside and inside of camera, at least next year, that specialization is going to be the refinement that you need. It's exactly the same thing that happened to me, chat. My whole 2020, I was learning outside and inside of camera. By the end of 2020, in the first quarter, was mostly like a refinement phase. Like towards the end of 2020 into the first quarter was more of that refinement phase. It's like a break-even phase that you just, you know, once you're a break-even phase, there's a few things that you need to change to like get out of that break-even phase. So that specialization is much, much, much more faster. But it took me the whole year to understand the outside and inside first. So yeah, that's what I'm going to say. Like when it comes to understanding markets, you got to focus your energy on that. They say everybody's a bit different. Everybody's ability to do due diligence is a bit different. So some of you are going to hear this now and fully understand what I'm saying. Some of you are not going to be able to understand what I'm saying and still do what you're going to do. But in trading, the beautiful thing about trading, it really brings out yourself. Like trading will show you more of yourself if you're what type of a person. That's a good thing. So it like pushes you every day. Sometimes it does that. No problem. I'll get it next time. You can download the same indicator in the description. Yes, sir. Don't master the flash just to get booked for the daylight shoot bars. Freaky Friday is the day of the diddler. Don't get fiddled. Yes. Don't get fiddled. Right now it's good. Right now there's no fiddling. There's not much fiddling going on so far. Not much fiddling. Even today morning, like pretty straightforward. Like I was on the buy that I took. This morning's buy, I felt really confident about the buy. Because we're already up like 40% on the daily. So like if that buy failed, I would have been very surprised. Because the way price is moving, there's a certain way that price usually moves as well that you're going to feel really confident about. That's what it's doing right now. That's how it's been moving since the London Open. But the more that the market opens up into the day, that's when we get more chances that it will start acting out a bit more volatile. But so far, so good. No shark in the water. Like, trust me, chat. Like, if the market was like this every day, it would be amazing. It would be so amazing. The problem is, like, some days, I don't know what happens, but, you know, overall, the market just going to move more like this. Like, you're going to scribble on a piece of paper, in a sense. Like, in terms of the tick, the way it ticks and the volatility. Yeah, after the fact, it might look clean, like when the candle closes. The problem is, like, also the way it ticks before the candle closes. How volatile it ticks and what kind of like slippages it creates. That's also an aspect of trading beyond just understanding how candlesticks are closing, but that tick movement, right? That tick movement can also make it quite difficult. But today it's been like a calm tick movement. Like it's moving calm. It's like somebody gave it a lewd or some nice valerian supplements to chill out. It's like very chill. This is PA. This is what we call raw price action. Understanding everything. That's now the inside of the camera that we're talking about. Talked about the outside of the camera and the inside of the camera. Just booked a lovely dub. Dropped it in trades taken. All right, let's see that, my friend. Trades made up yesterday's missed buy. Got the MFI crossing out of oversold, or this is... I think you want to say what, RSI? Oh no, that's not RSI. This is something else. Crossing out of oversold area, conforming the bottom. All right, let's see. Pull back into volume support plus 28 SMA bounce. Oh, plus this is pull back into volume support plus 21 SMA bounce. Nice. Boom. Oops. Let's bring that there. Very good. It's like an RSI, but it accounts for volume as well. This volume on trading view is not real volume. These volume indicators are not real volume. But I guess, you know, like if you're going to use it, just as long as you're knowing that as well. Quite important. It's like a proxy. It's if you're gonna do like anything volume based, I think you definitely, if you're gonna take that volume route, definitely like investing into something beyond trading view, because the trading view one is very vanilla. It's not true volume. You could possibly use it, but I don't know, like what is it even saying here? This is that break. So this was the accumulation here. Candlesticks, volume here were dead. Started breaking here. But you see it died out. Like why did it die out here? Like, so that would be this candle. Oh, that's the red candle. Died out. Yeah, it's kind of like difficult to read. This is not a good used. CVD is 100% better. Yeah, you gotta use CVD. I think. I'm not sure what CVD is. But I trust Ricardo. Ricardo's volume confluences. How do you guys think people in Wall Street used to do it in the pits? How do they used to read the volume? Because we all got these fancy indicators, right? But how do we used to do it back in the days, like in the pits? Have you ever asked yourself that question before? What volume indicators were people using? Maybe back in the 80s. And how were people making so much money back then? Whoever screamed the loudest. I like that. Yeah, whoever shouted the loudest. The most obnoxious person in the room made the most money. Oh my days. Yeah, literally like fighting. There's your volume indicator right there. This is your volume indicator right here. There your these are your fancy bubbles. That's what you get. A boring board that flips with, you know, they got that, I think it like flips like a board. That board flip thing. Or is it LED? No, it's LEDs. Alright, so we'll probably use that way earlier than that, those flip board things. But anyway, this is 1995.
Starting June 24,
sell the FEG.
The New York Mercantile
Buy the order block.
The world's largest market for energy futures and options, will introduce NYMEX Access, uncontrollable.
We've taken the screaming and yelling of a pit and turned it into an electronic trading
You know who didn't survive in this environment?
called
those ICT guys would crumble. They would crumble under these conditions. They would crumble. Because you know, like,
AT&T family delivers care,
this is
hope, and
raw.
help
Like, this is
wherever
even more of a
it's
raw
needed.
price action, because you truly have to understand the numbers and where price is trading from. Because when you're in the pit like that, it's not like you're gonna have a chart where you're gonna see the candles move up and down. Correct. So you also have to really get good at numbers and just basic arithmetic. You know, just adding and subtracting. So you got to be able to understand the way you're basically tape reading, right? And it's a feeling, remember, again, because you don't even like see the candles, but it's like a feeling that the traders also get, like based off how on the tape that price is moving, right? Even if you watch it in the movies and you see like how the price points are moving, and it's more like that feeling based off the experience of the trader. So that's kind of what you're nurturing. So always remember like what field it is that you're stepping. This is why education is so important, guys. You have to understand what field it is that you're stepping into, so you can know the difference between what's been packaged just for social media and what it is that you need to do based off of, like, you know, what's been around for ages. Because I would honestly say not much has changed since then in terms of like just the psychology of what it takes to be a profitable trader. Yeah, I'm throwing shots today. Bang. Shots. You see, the problem is like we're not getting enough, like, because YouTube is not pushing my channel enough. So if it pushed my channel enough, we would get a lot more ICT people on the stream, and we would bust and poke a lot more bubbles. And then that's the kind of reaction that I'm trying to get. But you see, like, everybody on the stream, we're kind of like all on the same page. You know, that's the problem. So I'm trying to bust somebody's bubble out there. I'm trying to rage bait the chat right now, but it's not working. I'm trying to find somebody in there. But man, if you got like more people watching, yeah, a lot more bubbles busted. And then it's gonna become a very nice platform for debate. Like really, really challenge a few ideas. That's what I'm waiting for. Thou shalt not disrespect the FEG. Any trade suggestion for now? Yeah, maybe like re-breaks these highs. You can move up. You got clean range right here on the 1 minute. On the 1 minute time frame, especially like if it like re-breaks the highs, then you have this minor resistance here, and then you have that next range to fill. They're like 33 pips. Breaks the highs by like 50, 33 over there. It's accumulating. It's gonna like distribute. Man, I wish FXCM was working. Let me see, is FXCM back on? We should be live. Yeah, okay, now we're back on. It's much nicer on the FXCM. But this is an accumulation right over here. For me, it's not the cleanest. I would actually wait for a resistance to first form before getting on the break. Like, wait for a resistance to first form, wait for it to pull back first down, and then re-break the highs again. Because right now it's kind of chopping, because the reason it's also kind of choppy is because it's already been distributing from this area down over there for a minute now. Let's go back on Nwanda, because we had like a small gap there. I trade ICT. You learned it your own way. Math. What you just smash words together. What does that mean? YT will push if you show off hard truth. Yes. the new algorithm is crazy. It's wild because now they're using Gemini AI. So it's literally watching the stream now, the AI. So it doesn't before it's like thumbnails, what's in your description box, tags, but now it's like it's watching the stream. So it's not even much to do with thumbnails and that sort of thing, what you named it, but like what are you saying on the stream. So it's watching if you're using curse words, it's watching what you're saying, it's watching the audience right now, like it's watching, you know, Tall Trader. So like Tall Trader watches a lot of live streams, then they're gonna promote like more live streams for him. And the thing about the algo is, unfortunately, there's a high percentage of you who would not be watching this video if the algorithm did not make it easy for you to watch. If it didn't pop out on your homepage and stuff like that, right? There's a low chance you click on this video. And if the algorithm, even though you like the channel, even though the algorithm doesn't show you me in a while, you can easily forget about me and then like remember me a month or two from now and say, hey, you know, I was watching you 2 months ago. Right? Because we've gotten really used to the algorithm just giving us, or like trusting that it's going to give us what we think is interesting. So it's important to like at least like the stream, and then that will show the algo that you want to have more of that kind of like a content. But it's a new system that they put in place, and yeah, it's like kind of working with it right now. I don't know why they do this. They did it last year. They're experimenting with something, YouTube. They did it last year in I think it was like September, and then they did it again in the beginning of January, that they tampered with the algo. Heard my name, wasn't exactly listening. Yeah, I was just talking about the algorithm. It's getting better and better. Like if you all realize, a lot of the time, even if you talk about something and maybe you show something a little bit more attention to on even like TikTok, maybe it's a motorbike or something, you know, you should show something a little bit more attention to, there's a chance you're gonna see like similar motorbike or something of the sort like on a different platform like Instagram. You know, there's always that thing that you can choose to allow to track across apps when you download an app. So you see the algorithm is looking at you and how you're behaving, like how long you're watching something, and it's going to show you across platforms. And I'm pretty sure it can do it on websites too. I remember like websites back in the days would have like a bunch of ads on the websites. It probably could do that as well. It's just the thing is we got ad blockers now, so we don't see it, but we're going to see it on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. It's a scary thing because you really have to be cautious about what it is that you're feeding it. I think at one point we're all looking at Epstein files. Also, it's creating a monoculture. I think the algorithm also has a chance of creating monoculture. What we used to have back in the, you know, the 2010s and stuff, because we didn't have so much of an internet access. Like most of us would talk about the same things, you know, like a Harlem Shake. We used to like Harlem Shake and all of those things. We had like a monoculture because we didn't have like too much content. But nowadays we got so much content, it's almost impossible for us to have monoculture. There are so many movies, so many shows. You see Netflix, like it's very difficult sometimes to talk to somebody and expect them to know what you're talking about because there's so much content out there. But now with the algo, I think it's creating like that sense of monoculture again. Now, at some point, my whole feed was just full of Epstein files, and it's not that I find that interesting. It just kind of pushed it on me. And I feel like everybody was going the Epstein loop for at least maybe 1 or 2 hours in the day. Because it was wild. There was a lot of things in there, like really crazy stuff. Yeah, really, really crazy stuff over there. I don't want to even think about it. You should check this thing called Frizz. Oh man, I'm not even gonna say it because yeah, I don't know. Algorithm. The Big Brother is watching. Chat. Big Brother is watching. This is how you use CVD on a safe way. You need what's this? You need to be important reversal zones. There's a method I use also to follow trend. We're at the top of this range with accumulation. Nice. Oh, okay. To see the side is breaking, we look for CVD divergence, absorption. I only trade absorption divergence. Price lower resistance on the CVD. Did a high resistance on that? CVD, DVD. Then it take at the break lower wick with SL above the candle made divergence when resistance was formed. Oh. Interesting. I'm seeing a break here. Going a bit earlier, break here, and then nice little push. Right over here. Took 2 W's down for the day. Nice, nice. It's just interesting what your mind sees as totally obvious and to then to feed that into AI or somebody else in that matter. We only had blue waffle and 2 girls, 1 cup. Exactly, bro. 2 girls, 1 cup. I don't remember the blue waffle thing. I don't think I know what blue waffle is. Bro, 2 girls, 1 cup? Holy. What a freaking video that was, huh? What a freaking video that was. Sheesh. That was wild. You can never imagine that becoming a thing like nowadays. Right? Like that was like a different type of wild. You know, that's when like comedians were even more funny back in those days. That, you know, get away with a lot of things. Now comedians, they gotta be like careful about what they say sometimes. Too many of these ICT, LGBTQ communities, you know, that's a problem. Too many abbreviations going around nowadays that we can't get away with what we used to. The people born like much later miss the whole story mode. If you think about it, they miss the whole game. They miss all the GTAs. They miss Liberty City. They miss Vice City. They miss San Andreas. Then they get put into the cleaned up version of all of it in the end. This is also going to be pretty sick. GTA 6. That's the cleaned up version, right? They miss Need for Speed. Man, like car lovers nowadays, they miss Need for Speed Most Wanted. The stress of trying to evade those cops in those Chevrolets. The amount of PTSD I have from those circle red lights. Those circle red lights and how impossible it was to evade those police officers. It's like the whole town was on your tail. And they missed all that character development. Now that's true character development. Need for Speed Most Wanted. Man, if you survive that game, then I think, honestly, if you survive that game, like trading is nothing. Trading should be trading should be nothing to you. Yeah, this is it. Yeah, price is coming down here. It's still going to break below 50.28. 50.28 level. And coming down to correct this move. Right here, it's like, you know, 53 pip range. Candlestick closed without a bottom wick. Let's see if any accumulation. No accumulation confirmations here. Very shitty. Unfortunately, even if it plays out, right, it's an unfortunate thing because this candle here didn't close. Even if you take it as a shotgun play, it's riskier because this candle here, it doesn't have a bottom wick. There's no bottom wick. But if there was an accumulation breakout that was happening there, then that would be fine. You wouldn't need a bottom wick, although it could be distributing from here, but it's coming towards like a much more later stage of that distribution after it's already pushed about 20 pips. So it's slightly a bit more risky for those reasons. It's not the cleanest move. You know, if you look at the difference in between this one right here, how it closed perfectly and then rebroke, even a little bit better, even if it has like a longer wick, but at least it has a wick. There's like breadcrumbs, right? So even if it plays out, you know, it's pretty good, but definitely more on the risky side. I don't think you'll find blue waffle anymore. I tried. Let me see. I'll search it real quick here on the side. Wait, like some images, right? Like a quick image. What the hell is that? What's a blue waffle? Let me see. 2 girls and 1 cup. If it brings even anything. Oh yeah, it kind of brings like some idea of it on Google Images. But nothing about the blue waffle. It looks like it's still played out. This would really keep me on my toes. A move like this. How much was this even drawdown here? That was about like 11.8 pips. Yeah, that'll keep me on my toes. The only time like I would take a move like this, if I was not like very sure but I still wanted to take it, is if the candle first opened, created like a healthy top wick, and then started to reflip after creating the top wick. So if you're ever like in this situation, that's the best way that you can look at taking a candle which doesn't have like the bottom wick to break. Just wait for that top wick to form. Was going to take a trade, lol. Hit sell, tell me trade vote is down. Trade ovate. Oh, trade ovate is down. Well, what's wrong with it? Trade wait. Trade wait. You pay for this thing. This is what is it? Powerful tools without price tag or advanced trading technology. $50 day trading margins and commissions. Choose your plan. Monthly. $100. Reduce your trade commission. Trade instant platform. This a prop firm used this, was trading Epics maintenance. Prop firms use this, was trading Apex account. And this is teaching an old dog new tricks. I'm too much of a 2020 mindset a trader. Like I find it so difficult to understand all of these things, which I should actually, but I don't need to, but I think it's important, but you don't need it, because I just teach what needs to be taught, you know. Like the thing is, like if you can't trade and read candlesticks on gold spot, even there's no difference there's gonna be in like futures or anything else. because all markets are going to be the same anyway. They're going to be relatively the same. Slightly different psychology, of course, but relatively the same. Just like Epstein said, you know, like in Wall Street, they do really simple things to make a lot of money, but they have to couch it in words that sound complicated, you know, because they don't want the layman to know how simple it is for them to make money. So they make it seem more complicated to keep them out the door. So if you've ever wanted like somebody to tell you to fuck off, they're going to explain to you something very complicated. You know, then you're going to be like, oh, okay. And then you forget about it. But if you send someone like somebody teach you, like explain to you in a very simple way, it's going to encourage you to want to know more about it. So that's what Wall Street kind of does over there sometimes. It can get complicated if you want it to, depending on how far down the rabbit hole you want to go. Full trading integration. All right, very nice. See, platforms, full trading. So, all right, so range has been filled. Let's see, looks like there's a technical issue with TradeOvate integration at the moment. We are currently in touch with the broker to resolve this issue. Is this something that happens quite often? With the broker to resolve the issue, because imagine getting that on MetaTrader. Like, you gotta never get that on MetaTrader. No, it's the first time. Man, I've never seen that happen on like a terminal like MT5 or MetaTrader. Yeah, but look at this. The range has been filled now. Awesome. Very good. Now it's coming down. It's gonna look at this next range here. They got another range of 144 pips. That's it. That was only clean range from here to here. Next clean range is going to be below 50.22 down towards 50.06. 50.06. 50.06. 50.06, it's going to come down. It's going to break below 50.22. And then we can sell gold down to 50.06. $50.06, we're gonna break gold. Yo, Indian traders are actually goated, you know. Like if you look at the Indian trading space, those guys go hard. Those guys go hard. There's a reason why, besides from India, the most Indians are found in New York City. Besides from India, so they live in India, and then they go to New York. They go to Wall Street. And if you look at the Indians on YouTube, man, these guys are crazy. They don't fuck around. And they have a population, you know, that population is very strong. You got these Indians, man, you got like 3,000 live viewers. 3,000 Indians all looking to make money. They say, "Sir, how are you trading India? India banned in India." Then the mentor says, "You gotta find a way, sir. This is all educational." How are you trading in India? But yeah, it's very good, man. I'm not making fun of Indians, like, but very good community over there. Like Indians have always had that history of like being very smart with things like mathematics as well, you know. If you watch Life of Pi, then you know what I'm saying. Very good movie. Very good culture, very good food. The Indians, you know, Indian has a space station. You guys didn't know, but India has space station also. They have satellites orbiting the moon. Your country doesn't even have space station. Don't joke with Indians, my friend. Very good math. They're going to be the first ones on the moon. Alright, 144. 144 pips. So yeah, it's getting ready to break below. Get ready to break below that level. You're gonna want to see like some kind of a candlestick to close below that support. So it's like flirting with the idea if you get through. And it's coming down. And like spike through it. But the problem is there's no like accumulation break right here. So it's like, it's the same thing that happened here. It came down. Sure, we know where price is going. That's not the problem. The problem here is like getting stuck into a trade with a little bit more confidence. So like you see a candle like this. That's such a tiny bottom wick. It barely had a bottom wick. So it doesn't give a lot of confidence for a sell. Although at least that one had some kind of a confirmation that the candle closed below. Right? But you just needed like even a stronger pullback than this would have been nice. Because this pullback here was only just about like 10 pips. Which normally 10 pips would be good. But, you know, given the fact that gold can move a lot more than this right now, it would be nice to get a deeper pullback and then a re-break of the lows. Whereas like right over here, you see, it's still kind of like rejecting that area. The problem is not like not knowing where it's going. The problem is like getting onto the trade with a solid confirmation. So right now at a 50.22, there is nothing on the 1 minute. There's obviously nothing on the 5 as it's still rejecting that mark. Vic, since you mainly scalp, you don't look at charts way back, right? You just look at the last hour. Yes, I just look at the last hour. And you see like all this is just what's important right now. It's like you see literally like everything here. Just the same way we call these trades. It's the same thing that we're kind of doing right now. We're looking at the most recent price action. Because see, it matters more what's currently happening. You even see how it's reacting off that level right here. Like spike below. That is like pulling back up. It's more important what's happening here than those older levels. And actually, you know, that's kind of all you need. Because look at this. Even this trade was caught using that same mental. And you still get these like crazy runners, right? You can always use what's happening behind, like even for running purposes. Like if you want to see any ranges on the HTF that we could possibly fill. You can go up time frames and see what's on the left hand side. And also I use it like in terms of daily analysis when I want to know where we're heading on the HTF. So I know what when we break above 5100 next week, we'll be off to the races towards that daily resistance. And then I come back into the inside of the camera like we spoke about. Now we start dissecting the inside of the camera. Well, we've understood the foundation, where it's going even on the HTF gives a confidence on the LTF. But for the most part, simple, like without overcomplicating, I will use just what's happening right now to determine where price can go to next. So it's the same way that we said, like, okay, you know, candlestick close below support over here, re-break the lows, then there's a pretty good chance it comes down. Same way it like comes above resistance over here, re-breaks the highs, there's a pretty good chance it comes up. You know, the thing is like all strategies work, right? The problem is that a lot of people just don't have that consistency and discipline to follow the strategy in a way that is not been influenced by the need to always trade. They say like this morning you've already got like a few trades, but if you got itchy fingers, then you put yourself at risk to being part of the 90%. So if you have actually had a good day today, it doesn't matter if like you plan to secure 1% and maybe only secure 0.80%, like you secured something. So you are currently part of a small percentage of people who are going to secure the day profitable. If you're going to take another trade, just know that you're going to risk that being part of that percentage. Like yesterday, for example, right? So yesterday I took a winning trade during, I took a winning trade in the morning. And then pre-New York, I took a losing trade. So I had an option to make. It's either I end the day there yesterday with 1% and be part of the winning people of the day, or I take another trade and risk being part of the losing side for the day. And I was very, very close to taking another trade. But I said, okay, you know what? Let me just be part of the winning team here today, because I survived today to trade tomorrow again anyway. You know, so I think that's how you're going to look at it. That's how you kind of like look at it. Even if you're up a lot, like I'm already up a lot here on this daily, on this specific day. But it doesn't mean now that we're going to risk those profits, right? We got to enjoy those profits and then, you know, try and build upon them rather than go on to revenge trade. Because sometimes you're going to make like really good trades and assume that you're playing with the house's money and then overtrade and risk giving back a lot more of those gains, correct? It's the same thing that happens to people in the casinos. They're going to make so much money at the table, and then because it came like really easily, they feel like they can do it again, and they keep playing and playing and playing. They dig the hole deeper and deeper. So that's with trading, you gotta be very careful, because when you take that one loss, really meditate on that one loss, because it's very easy to spiral from the second to the third. Although it might just seem like just one small loss to begin with. That's why somebody in the chat said, I don't know if it was like in the chat or the Discord, somebody said that they've been performing really good this month. They've been hitting one-to-one trades, and yesterday something happened and he doesn't know what happened, and that he lost money. I think it's in the beginning of the stream. I'm trying to find the comment. Yeah, bro, yes. Oh wait, no, that's not it. You see, it's like he doesn't know what happened. Sir, you know what happened if you're listening. How can you not know what's happening? You just need somebody to sit you down and say, you know what's happening. Because, you know, a part of your brain wants to play the victim to protect itself. You see, you're protecting yourself. You're saying, man, I was performing so well this month. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. You know, your brain is protecting itself from the character development that you need to be doing, which is, you know, recognizing, accepting what happened and what you did. You know, what is it? You overtrade, you over risk. Have you ever been there? We've all been there before, chat. Like, even not in trading, but we've been there one time in our lives, right? Where we're like, man, I don't know what happened. Like, I was driving the car so fast and, you know, I bumped into this guy. I just don't know what happened. But like, we know what happened. We know what we did, but the brain is trying to protect you. Right? So that's why, you know, in an environment like this, it's super important to be honest with yourself, because what is it they say about a lie goes, you know, when you lie, that lie goes really far. It only makes another lie and another lie and another lie and another lie. And in the end, it becomes a shit show. So trading is more or less the same. Like, if you keep lying to yourself, in the end, it will become a shit show. So it's better to have those harder conversations now than deal with all the mess later. Correct? And it's a good habit to have anyway. That's why I said, like, trading will reveal a lot about yourself when you're on these charts. Even the way you communicate, the way you talk to people. Since I started trading, I've become more frank with people whenever there's something that I want to tell them. Because, you know, when you lie to people, it's not a good thing. Because, you know, it doesn't help you or them. It's rather you hurt their feelings, but they'll understand why you did that. So the market is also quite frank. It will hurt your feelings by giving you those experiences, but it's doing it out of love. You know, it wants you to get better. It wants you to stop overtrading. It wants you to stop FOMOing into positions. And yeah, I mean, it's just a matter of how you perceive that information, right? You're either going to get offended by it, or you're going to use it to elevate you. That's why, like, whenever somebody hates on me, at first, my first instinct is I need to get this guy back. I need to outsmart him, or I need to do something or respond to this comment. Because, you know, somehow it also feels good to just vent it out and get back to them, right? But deep down, I know if this hater is saying something, it's something that I can improve. Because he's analyzed whatever it is that I'm doing, whatever it is that I'm saying, and maybe there's some truth in the way he said it. You know, maybe I need to change my delivery a bit more, you know, so I don't offend a certain group of people. And you're going to learn from that. And you got to elevate. What are you going to feel when I get the yacht fast first? You better invite me, man. Better, yeah. You gotta give me a spare key, sir. That's what I expect from you, is a spare key. You can share the yacht if you want. Split the maintenance costs and that. Rent it out when not using it. Start thinking more like businessmen. People need yachts. You know the amount of people who conduct businesses on yachts? We can start a yacht business with just one yacht. You know, people need yachts. We're gonna have yachts for meetings especially in countries like Dubai, you know. That I said, let's see, what is this? Let me move this zone back here because we haven't created that resistance yet. You see, it's the same thing like what happened here. We hit resistance, price came down, but it continued to move up. But we don't know it can move beyond this point. Once it smacked that resistance right over here. You see, it smacked resistance and it came down, but we didn't know it can keep moving up. And then all of a sudden, it just keeps moving up. And it's the same thing that happened here. But you see in this scenario, it smacked support, and then it did what we thought would happen even previously there. Came here, smack support, see that reaction, profit taking, liquidity grab. Right? So this is not random. These are orders sitting here. People like set sell stops and that sort of thing and then leave it, or even buy entries as well could be the case. And then small liquidity grab. Boom. But you see the whole idea was that in any case, that price was going to move from here down towards that support by 50.22. See, now it's going to set up again. And if you notice, this is becoming a very repetitive thing that we're doing. And it's working out for the better, I would say for the worse. So you can really see the power of just that simple concept in its own. Even before we get into the nitty-gritty of refining entries, you can see the power of just that simple concept. I created a resistance by, was like 50-30. The range here is quite small, so the one that's looking the most appetizing, especially because it's now creating new higher low, or lower high, actually lower high. You got lower high, lower high, lower high. It's looking a lot more appetizing for price to come down, break below that support, and then continue to move down bearish. See, this is the thing. It's gonna be so simple that it's going to be like, man, I wish you could make it more complicated. You know, sometimes people like it more complicated because they don't want to believe that it's that simple. We can make it more complicated and give ourselves abbreviations. So maybe a breakout we can say is AOC. We call it breakout and AOC, which is going to become now an accumulation of confidence. I would call it accumulation of confidence. Or what do we call it? You just gotta think really, really hard. Accumulation of confluence. Then we can call like the retest, like what happened here, a mitigation of, damn, I don't know, I gotta think. I'm sure ICT also, he thought a bit, you know, he thought a bit. It didn't just come right out the blue. I gotta think what we can call and make like the most simple concepts sound super complicated. Also with the SMAs, we can make some stuff up. Yeah. But for now, price is gonna break below 50.22 and then it's gonna come down towards 50.06. When are you coming back to South Africa to visit us? I don't know. Maybe hopefully like next year would be nice for like a holiday in CT. That would be awesome. Arrogance on credit. You just ask ChatGPT. Okay, let's see. The way ICT has his explanations for overcomplicating markets. AG, FEG, OB. Create me similar acronyms for stuff like clean ranges, which clean ranges, right? This is clean candlestick bodies where price can go through since there was no support or resistance. Oops. Also, accumulation breakouts, retest of the accumulation breakout. What else? Shotgun entries. Explain what that is. Alright, let's see what it comes up with. Let me just try what I've written so far. Alright, so you want ICT style, dramatic, institutional vocabulary, energy, laughing emoji. My chat GPT is also laughing over here. Overcomplicated, sounds illegal. Let's build your dictionary. Awesome. So let's see what comes out. Clean ranges, clean candlesticks, bodies. Okay, clean ranges. I think it's calling liquidity vacuum pocket. Oh, we call that like it's called this here LVP. So this is what this is coming up with. So we got LVP. Liquidity vacuum packet. Okay, so we got a few options here, chat. We got LVP, UDA, unmitigated displacement area. Ooh. IBZ, institutional breeze zone. SME, clean mobility expansion. SME, also like SME group, right? Damn, that's deep. Like the SME group. Those are the liquidity providers for brokers. So we got clean mobility expansion. So I think we're going to go with the SME. Clean mobility expansion area here. Or FDR sounds pretty clean. Free delivery range. I think SMC or FDR sounds pretty clean. But anyway, let's see. Accumulation breakouts. We got CSD, which is going to be like down here. So we got SMC, clean mobility expansion. Or free delivery range. No, I like the free delivery range. It's more marketable. All right, let's go. Accumulation breakouts. CSD, compression stage displacement. LSR, liquidity shelf release. Liquidity shelf release. Oh, that's kind of nice. Sounds like a shelf. Inventory build expansion. Consolidation break repricing. Pressure shift expansion. Yeah, well, we can come up with a lot of stuff here. Like very nice suggestions from ChatGPT. A retest of the accumulation can be MVR, mitigation, validation, retrace. Or redistribution, origin test. Institutional validation point. Oh. Institution validation point. IVP. So we got FDR. And we got here IVP. And it retested that area. See, it's not difficult. It is not difficult to make stuff up. But at least we're making it up with actual price action. That's like not reinventing anything, but just looking at what it is doing and what it does, and then reacting accordingly. So it looks like we have actually rejected support over there. There's not much range. Like there's a range here. There's a FDR, a free delivery range over here. Once we start to break above 50.31, we got FDR towards resistance by 50.33, but we still got to wait for that CME setup. So we can get CME, but you know, if CME plays out, you can always get back on an IVP retest. So that's what we're gonna wait for. We're gonna wait for an institution validation point. If we've already missed from getting in from the clean mobility expansion zone, so you're gonna have to wait for first but in this case, you know, since price has already moved up, we gotta wait for free delivery range to first form before clean mobility expansion to present itself. And hopefully we got a trigger break execution. That's gonna be a shotgun play. To get a trigger break execution with the CME, I think that's gonna play out beautifully. Are we on the same page, guys? Write a one if we're on the same page. Imagine this was the point Architect came back, he'd trip out so hard. Yeah, it's been a minute. Vocabulary, man. You gotta know English, bro. If you're gonna be a trader, you gotta know how to speak the English language. You know, like, but unfortunately, the truth is, it doesn't matter if you can speak English. You know, Floyd Mayweather, the money man, will tell you that himself. He says, I can't read, but I can count. Most paid boxer, Floyd Money Mayweather. The man can't read a book. Like, literally, Floyd Mayweather cannot read, but he can count. So what's more important here, chat? Reading or counting? You know, again, Epstein said, most traders could just do basic addition and subtraction, right? Are you a counter? Are you a reader? What are you? Are you an analyst? You know, because when you look at an analyst is a really good reader, but an analyst, they cannot execute because these are two different job descriptions. Yeah, but like we got a free delivery range right here by 50 35. You see if like candle can close above this area here, and we should be able to move up. It's about 33 pips. 33 pips. You see like this broke here, boom boom boom, corrected. Very nice. Now we're gonna wait and see for the next one. So far, since we have been streaming here today, we had one trigger breakpoint. We had two low probability trigger breakpoint without having the extension wick to break. That was a problem with this one, but the integrity of the setup was there. And now we're gonna wait for the third trigger breakpoint right here by 50.36 into the FDR. Hopefully, like most of the FDRs so far have been cleared up though. We just need to wait. You know, the good thing is this one had that clean mobility expansion. So it would be good if we can get like a clean mobility expansion here, because essentially what a CME is, and the reason why we call it a clean mobility expansion is because when it breaks the wick, most of the time we're having clean volume coming into the market. You see like right over here, we got SME break, boom, clean mobility expansion. So look at the way price is expanding. And when you're going to look at the FDR, man, that FDR right there is where it's going to show you where the free delivery range is following that clean mobility expansion. And it makes sense. As much as we're making fun of it, you have the proof in the pudding, as they say. Free, let's say it together, chat. We have to say it together so it sticks, right? Let's say it together. Free delivery range. You know, we gotta say it like in a classroom. You know, in the classroom, we're all gonna say the same thing. We're all gonna say free delivery range. So now we're not only learning vocabulary, we're learning how to trade. This is awesome. Oh, no sound on Discord? Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, all right, so we should be good on Discord. Awesome. Yeah, okay, so we got free delivery range. Nice. So you see, free delivery range here has been filled towards that 65%, where it starts to have that potential reaction, right? Now, the problem with this is the candlestick, it filled the delivery range before it could close. So that means that, you know, this was like an impulsive move. And sometimes people are going to take these impulsive moves when candle breaks the structure on the left-hand side. But, you know, this is actually more risky unless you are confident that price can keep moving in that direction. But you see, you're taking without any confirmations, and that's why it's risky. It would be better if you had the CME set up first. And then even in that point in time, you would not need trigger break point above 50. It's like 50.35. You wouldn't need it. Because now you're just playing off the clean volume expansion. But yeah, if we're just looking at the FDRs, then that essentially has already been filled. So if you're looking to see where price can go to next, there's a resistance here by 50.40, and there's no structure on the left hand side. So, you know, then we can't move up there at that point without that structure. You know, I think the most important thing is it's gonna be FDR. Like, always look for the FDR. It's like our version of FVG. So, you know, you got FVG, we got FDR. Correct? So you see FDR retracement over here by the 65. So instead of waiting for the reaction like this, like you would with the FVG, you want to trade the FDR into that range. You gotta trade into that range. And it's also created one right over here as well. So you got another FDR. But I think generally, as much as we're just kidding around here, there's some kind of value in acronyms, but they're just not necessary. But I can see how that can help in terms of like some kind of an understanding. But you know, the thing is, like, we're using just normal price movements, and we're not inventing anything new. So price moved up, and then it's created us a range that it can potentially move down here. Yeah, so that's it. I'm sure like somebody who's an ICT trader, if they come onto the stream for the first time today, they're gonna be like, FDR, where was that in the ICT handbook? FDR, IVP, man, I'm missing something. Because you know, like yesterday when I was looking at how many acronyms there are, I counted about like 13. So you know, I wouldn't be surprised if there was more than 13. You're like, man, did I miss something? What is this? SCME? Is that a pity array? Huh. Gotta tune into the next video. Na, 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 na. Tune in to the next episode. Do, 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 do. Come on, guys, like up the stream. Like up the stream. Help the algorithm push my channel. You're making the right guy famous, and I will highly appreciate the contribution to the TFX community and the broader community as a whole, which is the trading space, which is much needed of diversification. So I appreciate if you can leave a like. I got 142 people here. Come on, man. I see you on the couch. Get off your couch and leave a like, man. That's all that you got to do. Don't do it for me. Do it for the algorithm. You know, because then we got to play with the algorithm rules. Correct? That's how this whole YouTube thing works. Leave a like, appreciate it. Getting likes up to like at least 100k. You know, if you found some value, some entertainment, something, just leave a like. Just leave a like. Because you know, we need buttons to push. If this stream does not get big, whose buttons are we going to push? Are you gonna let people just get away with the gibberish that they saying online? You always gotta have the devil's advocate. How are you gonna have the devil's advocate if you're never gonna support the underdog? So I am an underdog in this fight. Gotta support the underdog. The underdog is the one who changes the game. Gotta change the game. I've been spamming the heart in the corner. My hand hearts now. Thank you, Woods. Appreciate it. Hey, there's people gonna watch. They're never gonna like. That's what people love to do. They're always gonna watch, but they're never gonna like. Yeah, all right. So we got the FDR here filled. Now you see, as I mentioned, it's filling the next FDR zone, which is right over here. The only thing about this one, though, it was like it needs a SME. So let's say together, SME. Now we're gonna go on the 1 minute time frame and see if we got an SME, because we didn't get a trigger point break on the 5 minute time frame. So now we have to investigate. So since there was no trigger point break entry confirmation, we have to investigate and see if there was a SME over here. So let's go on the 1 minute. Was there? Oh, okay. So no SME as well. So that means that this was just a V-shaped reversal. Price moved up and it moved down to correct the FDR. Yeah, I think it would have been much nicer if we had some kind of a structure. So it's a lot harder to catch a move like this without any one of those two confirmations. Because you can't just take a sell here. You know, just because you close like a bearish candle and then anticipate this a fake out, filling the FDR range, you can't just take a sell. You have to wait for structure, you know, and then you can take the sell. So you got to be okay with like missing that move. But this has filled the FDR range by like, you know, 67 pips over here. That's going to be looking to fill below 50.22. We get below like 50.22. Then you still have about 122 pips left. And the good thing about this is if we remove all of this analysis, what price is essentially doing is creating a much larger SME potential move over here. So remember chat, an SME is a clean mobility expansion. So we're creating a potential for a clean mobility expansion below the 50.22 mark. So you just gotta wait and see if a candlestick gonna come here. Hopefully with the trigger breakpoint, you can write that in line with the SME, the much larger time frame SME to the downside, giving you multiple confirmations like what we had right over here on the first trades that we called out into the FDR, which is gonna be the same thing that happened here. That's gonna happen down over here. That's what you're gonna have to wait for. Like seriously, I'm not kidding around. It's a very serious acronyms here you gotta pay attention to. But if we break below 50.22 with those confirmations, then you're gonna have what we call a higher probability that price is going to continue to move down. And that's what you want to do, is take a high probability trade if you want price to come down. Am I the only one that hears SME? Oh, CME. Was you gotta pronunciate your words correctly. You gotta say CME. Because you know you're teaching English as well. So you gotta teach like you gotta teach them these you gotta teach your students one day trading. Like you should have a class where you teach your students English, but like in terms of trading. So you're hitting two stones with one bird. You're teaching them financial literacy, and at the same time you're doing your job, which is like teaching them how to speak properly. And then they're gonna be like, wow. And I'm pretty sure some of you students must trade, correct? Because trading is such a thing that a lot of people do nowadays. I'm pretty sure some of them trade. And the thing about China, I guess, like they're going to learn a lot of English, and they want to learn a lot of English because they're also clean mobility expanding into the rest of the world. They're also, you know, Chinese are distributing. They're going to be distributing throughout the whole world because of the amount of investments they have across the world. Actually, China has a system, if you didn't know, that where they take like the prison inmates, and the prison inmates, they're taken to work in construction jobs in countries abroad. So, you know, there's a huge CME expansion. There's a huge CME going on with China right now. So it's pretty good business you're in. The problem started when they taught us to say elemenop. But have you ever watched those videos on YouTube of Chinese people crying of how difficult it is to speak English? It's kind of funny. I only teach on weekends now, and only kids too. I have one adult student, but his electric vehicle business just signed a $1 billion deal with Australia. Oh, sick. Nice. Gotta get some more electric vehicles in Australia. Down under. You know, Australia, they got a lot of sun in Australia. So, you know, you just put on a solar device on your Tesla and you should be good, mate. You should be able to take a trip down under. Remember when we did GeoGuessr and you had that Australian road? It's just like straight road. Everything is dry on the side. Now imagine you put a solar panel on your car. You have a pretty nice road trip there. Put some shrimp on the barbie. And maybe you put some shrimp on the solar panel. You know, maybe you're gonna cook some shrimp on the solar panel. I think it's pretty cool. But I think what we're gonna do here is we're gonna do a round of GeoGuessr and then we're gonna call it a week. It's been a pretty good week so far. So we don't want to ruin it, right? We don't want to ruin and give back profits that we've already made. Oh, so look at this. Maybe this is Australia. We got like a little dinghy out there in the water. Oh man, this is so easy. Come on now, stop playing with me. All right, let's go here. Where is it exactly? Where is it? Damn, why New York is actually so big. Sheesh. Where the hell is this in New York? Waffle Island. Hey, Wolf Island. Is it Wolf Island? No, it's Staten Island. This is Emerald Island. It's supposed to be Staten Island. Sandbanks. Victoria Beach. Chat, I cannot find Staten Island. I don't know. I'm putting it here, but it's definitely like somewhere around here. Somewhere in New York. This is Staten Island. Oh, what the hell? Wait, but that thing said New York was all the way up here. Oh, come on. This thing's broken. Wait, that thing's broke. Why did it say New York up here? I didn't even see New York down over here. It said New York all the way up here. What is this? Is this a different New York? This doesn't make any sense. Yeah, it should have been here. Look at this. This would have been much easier. You see, Statue of Liberty. This is Statue of Liberty would have been much easier if it just directed me to the right place. All right, let's try again. Oh, this is easy, man. This is London. This is the what do they call that bridge? Yeah, I see this tower a lot in UK TV shows. This is Oxford. It was London. Kensington. Tower Bridge. Oh, look at that. Awesome. We got it right to the T. Tower Bridge. All right, let's go. 2 for 2. Come on now. Like, we already got New York. We got New York. This is Moscow. We already got this one, chat. We already did this once before. This is Moscow. That's the star right there. We already done this one. This is does anybody know where this is? Who knows where this is on the chat? This is Dubai. There's a Burj Khalifa over here. Ah, joking. This is it's definitely India. The Taj Mahal. A damn, but where is it though? Like where in India? Tamil. Why do I feel like it's somewhere here in the south? Tamil. Let me see. Maybe once. No, Nepal, right? No, not Nepal. Nepal is close to the Himalayas. It's close to the mountains, right? So maybe in another life I was Indian. Let me see if I'm correct that it's somewhere down here in the south. Hey, I'm not gonna read the chat, so I'm gonna have to make this mistake myself. Yeah, I'm just gonna put it here. Let's see if it was Indian in another life. Oh no, it's in the north. It's in the north. Okay. So Agra. Oh, right, there is Taj Mahal. Okay, nice. We kind of know where it is, but it's just a thing that pinpointing it directly on the map can be a bit difficult. He keeps giving us Moscow. We already did Moscow. This is a... Oh, wait a second. This is Paris. I know Paris. You know where I remember this from? Do we got Ricardo in the chat? Ricardo, this is where Kurt Kaz was, right? Isn't this the street that he was where he was exposing those let's see if we can even find them. Those guys who have those games, and you gotta play a game on the street and look at them. You know, they're all just hanging out like this, isn't it? This is like Kurt Kaz. And then they're always gonna hang around like something like in a group, and they got like a fake lady who's going to pretend that she's playing the game, but she's in on the scam. Yeah, exactly, right? This is it. That's like the street see. Oh, look at this. We can go under the bridge. Why did we go under the bridge? Damn, man. This is why I don't travel, you know? I just fall off bridges. I get lost and I gotta walk up the stairs. I don't see any scammers here. What's this guy's doing? Playing some music. She's selling clothes. Hey, we're in Nigeria now. What's up? This is my Nigerian brothers. Right over here. What are you doing? What are you selling? Oh, selling some Eiffel Towers. Interesting. What's inside here? I wonder what's inside that thing. All right. Yeah. So this is easy. This is Paris. So I don't think we gotta go here in France. Let's go. Let's see. Here we go. Paris. Tower du Eiffel. So we're just going to just randomly put it here anyway because we're in Paris. Yeah, there's a Eiffel Tower there. NQ breakdown. Wait a second, man. We're in New York now. This looks like NY City. Look at this. West 52nd Street. Look at these classic NY streets. Look how busy it is. You know, it's like, is it Marcus or someone who said, you will own nothing and be happy? That's a kind of, when you live in countries like this, you kind of like owe nothing and you're going to be happy. Super expensive. You know, instead of spending $500,000 on that Ferrari, why not buy some concrete and land in a beautiful country with beautiful weather, good fresh food, instead of spending, you know, like 500,000 on a Urus to be in traffic in a country like this. That's just me, but that's what I think is like the best way to live, right? A lot of people can afford it. Look at Miami. People in Miami drive all these amazing cars and live in apartments. You know, you can buy yourself some really nice properties or move to places with amazing living conditions. Like the biggest guy, TJR, also lives in Puerto Rico. You know, at least TJR is, he gets the assignment, right? That's the assignment. You don't live in Miami. You don't live in Puerto Rico. There's good weather, good food. And then your money goes a lot longer as well. But this is New York City, so we're not going to do it. What's this? Again, Russia. It keeps giving us Moscow. Now we're in... Oh, like, this is France? Oh, this is... This is a, what is this? Isn't this France? This, yeah, I think so. Hell no. Let's see, NQ. I've seen that in 3 idiots. Wrong answers only. Mumbai. Yeah, this is Mumbai, chat. Hey, this is where Kurt Kaz was. There's a video he starts where he's walking literally through this place. And I bet you I can find that video. And the camera is facing, isn't it facing like this? Budapest. NQ fall nice. Let's see, NQ. Yeah, NQ on the daily, we have a daily rejection here by 24,900. We would wanted to see the daily continue to move up bullish through that mark, but yeah, it is falling right now. What it's doing, it's filling the FDR. Yo, FDR here. So it's going through the free delivery range and heading towards the support. See, it's mopping up quite nicely, right? So same concept here, but you see with gold spot right now, it's in a very sticky situation. And if we clean up all our chart work here, you can see exactly when FDR was filled, we had a rejection, correct? So this was the whole idea here. The market was looking at this to say, if we're going to break these lows, we're coming down to 50.26. And you see we mopped up that range. And it's the same thing that's happening on NQ right now. We're breaking below through the free delivery range. We're expecting price to head down towards 24,774 over there. This is where it's currently filling up. But on gold right now, it's creating like a much larger SME, right? So it will distribute possibly towards like pre-NY to NY open. And then either going to break above 50.42 and then really skyrocket up. Hopefully that's what I'm hoping for, as we're coming towards the end of the week. Remember how this daily candle is going to close could give us a hint of what to expect in terms of maybe even surprise fundamentals throughout the weekend. So if we get like a strong bullish closure today, there's a high chance smart money is in anticipating something to happen over the weekend. So remember, this was constantly happening to us last month. Last month we had constantly daily candles opening without the bottom wick. Remember that period? This is Owanda. Charts look a bit weird, but we were getting like literally every daily, was it daily or weekly candle? I think it was weekly. Like each week, yeah, it was like weekly candle throughout the market opens was opening bullish. So you see right here, let's go on FXCM and then you can see it better. See, opened with no bottom wick. So we have fundamentals over the weekend. Boom. No bottom wick. Boom. No bottom wick. Boom. Like literally every weekend we're getting fundamentals. So we're going to see how with the daily candlestick closes over here. If it closes strong, that will give us a hint. And then we'll just obviously wait for the fundamentals and see what happens. But you see, beautiful. Filling up the FDR right over here. It's coming down towards that resistance. And you can always expect some kind of reactions the closer we get towards that support area over there, tapping into that 65% mark. So yeah, pretty good. Like if you manage to somehow catch something I think that's cool. Oh, where is this chat? Is this Germany? I forgot about where these horses are. Let me look at the people. This guy looked German. I don't think so. Oh, there we go. That looks pretty German to me over there. Look at those sandals. They got the Birkenstocks. Got some Birkenstocks. Busted. But you could be just a tourist. That could just be a tourist. A lot of tourists. It was Germany though, I was correct, bro. Somewhere in Germany here. Let's go. Berlin. There's no, this is not Berlin, is it? No, Berlin is more city. Let me read the chat. Brandenburg. Leipzig. Oh, let's just guess it. Nice. Yeah, I got Berlin. Yeah, this GeoGuessr keeps giving us London and Moscow. We already did this. Again, Moscow. Paris. New York. Damn. Why does it keep showing the same thing? This is Berlin. What the hell? There's no more GeoGuessr. We beat the game. We finished the game. Oh, this looks like Greenland. This is Greenland, right? That's most likely Greenland. All right, let's go to Greenland over here. We're just gonna take a quick Ganta at this. Yes, Greenland. Let's go. Yeah, I should probably put it more into like not the ice part, correct? Like more of the area where there's actual land. Got woods over here. This is where there's a woods location, just trading inside one of those containers. Greenland. Alright, let's try different. Oh, these are kind of getting more difficult now. What language is this? Is this like Israel? Oh no, this is Greece. This is most likely Greece. Zappa. Where is Greece on the map, chat? Can't find it. Trump loves the GeoGuess Venezuela and Greenland. Iceland. Oh, here it is. Greece. I'm gonna just call out the city. Look, it look pretty close over here. Look at that. Pretty damn close. This is Greece. 22.1 miles away. Difference. Not too bad at this game. Not too shabby. Not too shabby. This looks like Europe. Probably Germany. There's some... I don't know why I always go to Germany. It's just because of the house, the roofs, I suppose. Somewhere in the countryside. Seems like a German summer. There's some Germans over here with their tractors. Tractors getting some wheat. Yeah, this classic German what do you call it, like scenery over there, right? Let's go here. Boom, boom, boom. Or is that Austria? It could be Austria, but definitely somewhere between here. Hamburg, nah. I would say somewhere around here. Let's just go like right here. Oh, not too far off. This is where is this? Geneva. Oh, so this is in shit, that was in France. They just had to cut through like this. Okay. Let's see if the chat is going to get this one. I want the chat, and I want to see if anybody in the chat is gonna get this one. Y'all gotta know. Anybody in the chat? Y'all gotta know. Y'all gotta know. You see these ice cream trucks? We got ice cream trucks on the side of the road. What is this? Let's see if y'all can get it. We got ice cream trucks on the side of the road. What country has ice cream trucks? Oh, sorry. Let me go back. USA? Is this USA? Leave your thoughts. Yeah, this is the street. You know, we got ice cream trucks here on the side of the road. You know, you just gotta use your eyes. Okay, let's walk around. Let's walk around. You're gonna see like, okay, so we got a petrol station here. We got some kind of like, you know, supermarket. It's like this is like a what do you call it? This is like let's see. You know what the crazy part is? I think I've been here. Like this road, I think if you go up the hill, there's like some houses up the hill, some around here. Like I used to have a buddy, he used to live in like, he used to have like old money, yeah. So I was staying at his place, and I feel that I've been to this mall before, right over there. Like, so if you go up the hill, there are houses. There should be houses up the hill. So I can't remember exactly the direction. I think I went this way. It was either left or straight up. But if we keep going up the hill, there should be like some areas here which have like houses. Let me see if it's like this direction. That is wild. The fact that this put me here, that's insane. Because I think I've been there before. I've been to that mall before. And it's not like the nicest of areas, correct? Like, there's not much to do there at all. But he had like a really nice spot he was living at. Yeah, that's crazy. But yeah, y'all got it right. This is SA. This is somewhere more, if should be correct. Obviously, this is not in Cape Town. This is more landlocked, somewhere close to, maybe like 3 hours away from Joburg. Not Joburg, but Gauteng. It's somewhere like that. 3 hours away from Gauteng. 2 or 3. Maybe 2. That's Pretoria right there. Here's Johannesburg right here. Alright, chat, I'm not gonna know exactly where it is. I'm just gonna put it somewhere on the map here, but it's definitely SA. My guess. And Joburg is right here. Oh, okay, Cap. I don't think I've been on that side. I haven't been on this side. So we got it. We got it. Nice. Pick somewhere green. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. Auf dem Landengarben. Auf den Landengarben. Nice. 83.9 miles away. www. France and Germany look quite similar there in the fields. Where is this? This is a hood. AV Bella Visa. This looks somewhere in like Spanish country. Yeah, there's definitely some. This guy riding a bike. There's Espanol. Ethiopia, East Africa. No way. Oh, Italy? Yeah, it could be like Italy, right? Like, but could it really be like Italy? This is AV Bella. Oh, Bella Vista. Bella Vista. That's true. Bella Vista. It's most likely somewhere in Italy. We gotta be on the outskirts somewhere. Hey, stop spamming the chat, please. If you want to represent your country, just put your country's flag. But we're gonna put a guess somewhere around here. It's definitely like, oh, damn it. See, chat? Should listen to myself. This is Spain. All right, so it's close to Spain. Portugal. Let's see. Ricardo, get it? No. All right. But this is in Portugal. So like Italy, but it could have been Italy. Like that road sounded Italian. Portofino. All right, chat. I'm gonna head out right here. Hope you all enjoyed the stream today. I will see you all next week for the London Open. Remember your acronyms for the weekend, and I will see you all on the next one. Adios, everybody.